Chapter 508. When did I lie to you? Jiang Zhao felt really sleepy now. He needed a good night's sleep. He stretched his arms and neck before collapsing. Good night, Yun Yi. Good night, Ah Zhao. In the Shi family villa, the light in the art room on the second floor was still on. Shi Jintian had already woken up from his nap. The maid said that the young master was still awake. He was worried, so he went to knock on the door. No one answered, so he pushed the door open and entered. Wu was still painting. Wu, he called softly, afraid that he would scare his grandson. Yu held a palette and slowly painted. Even when he knew that someone had entered his studio, he didn't have any reaction. He looked at the painting leisurely, and there was even a faint and confident smile on his face. Grandpa, I want to compete with Jiang Zhao. A fair competition. I won't drug her again. I want to get her through the right way. Don't interfere. Shi Jintian knew that Wu didn't care about anything after the heart transplant. If he insisted on it, even 9 bulls wouldn't be able to pull him back. However, he still couldn't believe that a girl could charm Wu to this extent. He had met Yi Er that day and she didn't seem to be that close to Wu. Wu raised his head and sighed. Grandfather, rest early. Don't force me anymore. Wu, there are many good girls in the world. Why are you so stubborn about a married woman? They are husband and wife. Why can't you find an innocent girl? Even though Shi Jintian couldn't reprimand Wu, his tone was full of reproach. In his mind, even though Wu had a heart transplant, it didn't affect anything. Wu was outstanding and sensible. He should be worthy of the best girl in the world. Innocent? Wu smiled and asked, Grandpa, our family is not innocent at all. Why do we need to ask others to be innocent? What's more, she's just married. I thought about it all night, and this was the best result I could think of. I've thought of worse situations before. Actually, I shouldn't have been so pessimistic. He had indeed thought of a worse outcome. In the past, he thought that she was working in a nightclub. When she said that she was selling her body, he couldn't sleep or eat in peace. Fortunately, he didn't find her in that kind of place, right? This was a kind of fortune for them. He had thought about what she had said during breakfast many times. If she was really such a stubborn person, so what if he took her body? He wasn't an impulsive person. When he faced her, especially when he saw her smile at Jiang Zhao, he felt that he was a little late. But it didn't matter if he was a little late, as long as he caught up with her. Since he had already made up his mind, so be it. He had lived a life of plain water for so many years, so he didn't mind waiting a little longer. If Jiang Zhao really entered her heart, then he would remove Jiang Zhao from her heart completely. Only then would he be the safest. Shi Jintian's chest shook. Wu, if you insist on becoming enemies with Jiang Zhao because of a woman, Grandpa can only give up everything in Haicheng and take you away. We'll go abroad. Wu lowered his head and continued to paint. He said indifferently, Grandpa, if you want to go abroad, then go. I like being here. Grandpa, I didn't expect that even you don't love me anymore. Jiang Zhao habitually gave Yi Er a morning kiss before he woke up in the morning. He felt at ease. It was as if when he woke up, there was someone by his side whom he could remember. Then he turned his head. The smooth and fair forehead was right there. When he kissed there, it wouldn't be as soft as lips. It wouldn't be like lips, where the moment he kissed her, he would want more. It wouldn't be like lips, where the moment he kissed her, he would think of endless desires. On the forehead, the kiss was like a dragonfly skimming the surface of the water. It meant that this person was by his side, by his pillow. Jiang Zhao sat up. He hesitated for a long time about this morning's morning kiss. He thought about what she said before she went to bed last night. She said, let's live a good life. She had said this more than once. She was clearly so young, full of vitality, and at an eye-catching age. She said, let's live a good life, something that only people who had experienced many years would say. 19 years old. Did she know what it meant to live a good life? Her little tricks were really tacky. In the past, when they met the robbers and saved her, he knew that she had countless tricks up her sleeve. One after another, they were endless. He had never met a girl like her. People said that a great man could bend and stand tall, but he had never met a woman who could bend and stand tall like her. She could change her face in a second. It was even more spring than the weather in spring. Forget it. He only hoped that she could be more obedient. The thoughts of young people nowadays were too avant-garde. He couldn't keep up with them. Yesterday's incident had been caused, and he had taught her a lesson. What else could he do? Could it be that he really couldn't kick it away? His thoughts didn't seem to be so modern. Marriage was a big deal. Divorce was impossible. He wouldn't follow in his parents' footsteps. His child's family must be complete in the future. He was determined not to let his child be upset all day because of his parents. Actually, he should wake her up to drink some water. Her lips were so dry that they were starting to peel. A morning kiss landed on her forehead. However, he didn't move away like before. His lips were on her forehead, and he didn't dare to move. Then, he pressed half of his face against her forehead. The man's handsome eyebrows furrowed. His face left the woman's forehead, and he reached out to touch her forehead. Was it so hot? Yunyi, Yunyi. Jiang Zhao caressed Yi Er's face and rubbed it. It was very hot. Yi couldn't open her eyes. Her head was hurting terribly. Her eyelashes, which were like small brushes, fluttered gently, revealing a slit before closing again. She only remembered that Jiang Zhao had called her, so she responded with a whimper, are you feeling uncomfortable? I'll get you some water first. Let's go to the hospital. Jiang Zhao hurriedly got out of bed. There was a thermos flask in the room. He took a cup and poured a cup of water. He tested the temperature of the water, mixed some cold water, and brought it over. He knelt on the bed and helped Yi Er up. He made her drink water. Drink some water. You have a fever. Drink more water. Hurry, drink water. Let's go to the hospital. Yi Er was really thirsty. She drank the cup of water in a few mouthfuls. After drinking, she turned her head and fell into Jiang Zhao's arms. She felt much better. Hubby, stop fooling around. Let me sleep for a while. I'm tired. Yi Er slept soundly. She didn't know how long she had slept. She felt that her left hand was very numb. She couldn't lift it even if she wanted to. Her nose could smell the sensitive disinfectant. She slowly opened her eyes. The room was pink. Although it was pink, Yi Er knew that this was a hospital. Because of the infusion rack, the call button above the head, and the warm reminder on the opposite wall. It was a picture of a beautiful doctor. She wanted to turn over. Just as she moved, she heard the sound of the man's leather shoes stepping on the floor. She also heard the sound of the stool's feet scraping the floor. He seemed to be in a hurry. Jiang Zhao held Yi Er's hand and slowly helped her up. He was a little happy but also a little reproachful. Don't use your hand. Be careful that the needle will pierce your blood vessels. You will die on the spot. But your skin is thick, and your blood vessels should be very thick too. I don't think this needle will be difficult for you. Yi Er looked at her left hand. No wonder it was cold and numb. It turned out that she was receiving an infusion. What did Jiang Zhao say just now? Couldn't this man say something nicer when he cared about others? She was not sick. Why would she be angered by this man's words? Forget it. I won't lower myself to his level. Who asked him to have a mistress? Hubby, why am I hospitalized? Jiang Zhao put a pillow behind Yi Er's back. He then picked up a neatly folded towel from the bedside table and went to the bathroom. After a while, he came back. The towel was steaming hot. He came over to wrap Yi Er's fingers and the back of her hand. From time to time, he would rub them for her. Yi Er felt that her hands were warm and comfortable. This man was so nice and attentive. He must have rubbed her hands many times just now, right? But when the woman's longing for the man surged over like an unending wave, the man immediately used an extremely cold and unparalleled martial art to freeze the huge wave. Jiang Zhao was massaging Yi Er's blood vessels as he sneered coldly. You had a fever and went into shock from the fever. You almost became an idiot. I can't raise an idiot wife in the future. It's too much of a loss, so I spent money to send you to the hospital. Hey, can't you save me some money? It's hard to earn money. How much do you think your hubby's monthly salary is? If you spend my money again, I'll only give you porridge every day. Yi Er couldn't believe it. What did you say when you got married? You said that you'll give me abalone and wings every day and raise me like a fox pig. Now you say that you'll give me porridge every day. I'm still developing and will grow taller. You're abusing me. But how much abalone do you have to eat for a day in the hospital? If you eat too much, it's easy for you to be overnourished. Porridge is good. You can have porridge tonight. I want to eat ginseng, abalone, and wings. The doctor said that it was best for patients to eat porridge. Yi Er looked at the hospital's decoration and the single-room environment. It was so cozy. A special ladies' ward must not be cheap. She pouted and said, but you can't be so biased, right? Didn't you say that you have so much money that you can buy the entire 9th mansion? How much did it cost you to spend for a day in the hospital? Cheapskate. Jiang Zhao touched the towel and felt that it wasn't so hot anymore. He then touched Yi Er's hand and felt that it wasn't so cold anymore. Seeing that she had woken up, he increased the volume a little more. That's why I told you to study more. It's really scary to be uncultured. You don't understand culture. As the daughter of a businessman, don't you at least know about the market economy? Yi Er's blood was stuck in her throat, but she couldn't spit it out. Jiang Zhao continued to provoke her. You're hospitalized, so you can't get back the money you spent. But 9th mansion is different. It's a good location, has good facilities, and a good house. After spending this money, you can just sit back and wait for the value of the house to rise. How can it be the same? Yi Er stared at Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao, did I owe you 100 million in my previous life? He clearly had a grudge against her, so he couldn't help but mock her. That's right. So in this life, you're here to repay your debt. Forget about the interest. Just pay the principal. Yi Er was so angry that she couldn't say anything. You're really, Jiang Zhao smiled and reached out to press the call button. He raised his eyebrows and said smugly, really what? Am I really so kind? I think so too. That's why I'm so kind. You have to save your money in the future and don't spend it recklessly. When we run out of money to eat abalone wings, I'll see how you're going to act like a fox pig. Yi Er was panting with anger. Jiang Zhao was also like this when he was sick. He didn't even say anything nice to coax her. She didn't know that when she went into shock from her fever in the morning, Jiang Zhao had been scared half to death by her. Beauty novel, Hongcha 866. Chapter 509. The city government had a lot of work to do. He had to send the patient to the hospital, go to the office, settle the documents, and then rush back. It was already night time, and he had been running back and forth a few times today. The nurse came in, and her service was better than the nurses in the public hospital. She was very polite. When she was taking Yi Er's temperature, she said, Mrs. Jiang, don't forget to take your anti-inflammatory medicine when you go back. You must take note of your fever caused by your wound infection. Wound infection. Isn't it because you took a cold shower? Yi Er's first instinct was that he had a fever. It should be because he had taken a cold shower with Jiang Zhao. The water was so cold, how could he not catch a cold? But why was he fine? Wound infection. Haha. Yi Er suddenly laughed out loud. The nurse was stunned, and so was Jiang Zhao. Why was she laughing like this? Yi scratched his head. Miss, do I need to get a rabies vaccine? Why do you need a rabies vaccine? Because Yi tilted her head and looked at Jiang Zhao. Her eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. She said coquettishly, because I was bitten by a dog. Jiang Zhao's face turned black. Miss had been working in the hospital for a long time and had seen a lot of people. She knew how to read people's facial expressions. Furthermore, she knew about the wound on the mayor's wife's shoulder. It was obvious that it was a bite mark. Looking at the deputy mayor's face, Feng Yu knew that the mayor had bitten her. Miss was in a dilemma. This was a high-class private hospital, and all the patient's information should be kept confidential. The mayor's wife scolded the mayor as a dog. This topic was too explosive. She should keep her mouth shut. If she accidentally said something, the mayor would know that she was the one who said it. There was no one else in the room. This was too much. That Mrs. Jiang, you can just get a tetanus shot. Jiang Zhao clenched his fist and placed it around his mouth. Cough, cough. The nurse immediately shut up. Yi, on the other hand, didn't look sick at all. Jiang Zhao waited for the nurse to take Yi's temperature, remove the needle, and leave before he lowered his head and looked at Yi. You want to get a rabies vaccine? Yi was originally happy, but when she saw Jiang Zhao smiling so complacently, she couldn't continue to be happy. Her intuition was that this man was very sinister and immoral when he smiled like this. Hubby, I'm so hungry. Is the porridge ready? After Yi stopped smiling, she immediately changed into a pitiful stray cat. She looked at Jiang Zhao pitifully and asked, Did I really spend so much money that you won't even give me porridge? I am going to work next month. I need to pay for my living expenses. Please give me some porridge, hubby. Yi grabbed Jiang Zhao's shirt and shook it. Jiang Zhao shook his head and slowly pried Yi's hand away. He rubbed her head as if he was worried about her and said gently, The doctor said to drink more water. I'll get you some water, and then we'll talk about the dog bite and the rabies vaccine. Yi really couldn't figure out what Jiang Zhao meant. It was like a person who was originally gloomy suddenly sitting in front of you with a smile and saying, Little sister, don't be afraid. Actually, Big Brother just wants to discuss life with little sister. Furthermore, the things in Jiang Zhao's mind were things that she could not understand with her skills. Even if he won by accident, it would be because a random chess player played against a national chess player. He did not follow the rules at all and forced the national chess player to not use the rules. Even if he won, it would be a lucky win. Jiang Zhao passed the water to Yi and sat down in front of the bed. He smiled warmly. Drink some water first. Yi could not drink anymore. Hubby, I'm not thirsty. I'm hungry. Jiang Zhao passed the cup to Yi's mouth and said with a smile, How can you be hungry after receiving the nutrient solution? The nutrient solution is very expensive. It is more expensive than the rabies vaccine. You can't just pretend you didn't lose, right? Yi could not take it anymore. She snatched the cup back from Jiang Zhao's hand and slammed it on the bedside table. She lifted the blanket and straddled Jiang Zhao. She hugged his neck. Hubby, was I bitten by a dog? I was talking nonsense. I shouldn't have lied. Liars are not good children. Jiang Zhao said, Then tell me, how did the wound on your shoulder come about? Yi said softly, Hubby punished me. Why did you punish me? Because I did something wrong. I made a mistake and tarnished my reputation, so I received the punishment I deserved. Then how do you plan to change your ways? From now on, I will follow hubby's lead. I will never disobey hubby's orders again. I swear. Yi said and raised 3 fingers to her ear. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi with disdain. Could she say something new? How many times had she said something like this? Which time did she not turn a deaf ear to his words? Come on, you swear? The Jade Emperor, the Heavenly Queen Mother, the King of Hell, and even Jesus have blacklisted you. You have no credibility at all. Who are you swearing to keep an eye on you? I'll send it to my high and mighty Lord hubby. Jiang Zhao laughed. Huh, good. Are you really hungry? I'm really hungry. Dad should be here soon. He was here just now. When he heard the nurse say that she wanted to give you some porridge, he went out to buy it. From tomorrow onwards, you should exercise properly. Don't fall sick like this again. The whole family will worry about you. Oh, actually I didn't want to. Wasn't my wound infected? At this point, Yi Er's voice became softer. She carefully glanced at Jiang Zhao. She was afraid that he would say something about her historical mistake again, so she kept quiet. After that, Yi Er sat back down on the bed. Jiang Zhao said that it was better to cover her up. Although her wound was infected, she still had a cold. She didn't want to catch a cold again. Yun Hongwei carried the thermos into the ward. When he came in, he didn't greet Jiang Zhao and even seemed to be ignoring him. Yi Er saw that her father was acting strangely. Then she looked at Jiang Zhao. It seemed like he was purposely sticking to her father and looking for something to do. It seemed like he was trying to please him. What was going on? Did she miss something? Yun Hongwei had just opened the thermos when Jiang Zhao immediately went up to him. Dad, you rest for a while. I'll fill it up. Yun Hongwei ignored him. He lifted his elbow and blocked Jiang Zhao's hand. He also moved his body and directly blocked Jiang Zhao behind him. Jiang Zhao looked past Yun Hongwei and gave Yi Er a look. He frowned and winked. Then he lifted his chin and propped up his head in his father's direction. Yi Er was very confused. What was he doing? After Yun Hongwei filled the bowl with porridge, he pulled up a stool and sat down beside Yi Er's bed. Yi Er quickly went to take the bowl. Dad, I'll do it myself. I'm fine. Yun Hongwei held the bowl and dodged. He scooped a spoonful of porridge and blew on it. It was stuffy. Yi Er suddenly felt that the atmosphere was a little heavy. She didn't know why, but looking at her father like this made her feel very uncomfortable. Her father's hair was a little gray. Before he went to prison, he had been very energetic. His hair was black and shiny. Her father's eyes were not looking at her. He was only looking at the porridge in the spoon. When he lifted his eyes and put the porridge into her mouth, his eyes were a little red. Yi Er bit her lip. Dad, what's wrong? Jiang Zhao stood behind Yun Hongwei. He didn't dare to breathe too loudly. Seeing Yi Er's reaction, he knew that today's matter was going to be difficult to resolve. His father-in-law had come with him today. When the doctor did the examination, his father-in-law was also present. When he saw the teeth marks on Yi Er's shoulder, his expression had already changed. In addition, the doctor said that the wound was infected and had a fever. He suddenly became very quiet and didn't say a word. Clearly, when he carried Yi Er to the hospital, his father-in-law kept saying, Our Yi Er has made you worry. She's young and willful. I've spoiled her since she was young and spoiled her. She's not very sensible. At the time, he felt quite guilty because he had always felt that Yi Er was very sensible, but she didn't know how to be emotional. Actually, he could understand how his father-in-law felt. His own daughter was injured and her wound was infected. She had a high fever and went into shock from the fever. No father would be able to take it. Just as he was reflecting, Yun Hongwei turned around and looked at Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao, I have something to say to Yi Er. Jiang Zhao was a little nervous, but he understood that Yun Hongwei was asking him to leave. He was definitely going to say something that he couldn't listen to. Hence, he consciously left the room. When Yun Hongwei saw Jiang Zhao leave, the bowl in his hand began to tremble. He stopped feeding Yi Er and placed the bowl on the bedside table. He stood up and sat on the edge of the bed. He reached out to touch Yi Er's shoulder, but just as he was about to touch it, he paused. His eyes grew redder and redder. When he spoke, he was choked with sobs. Yi Er, do you feel wronged because of Dad? Dad, I'm not. What are you thinking about? Yi Er grabbed Yun Hongwei's hand in a panic. Dad, what's wrong? He bit you, didn't he? Yun Hongwei looked at Yi Er's shoulder. When Dad wasn't around, were you bullied? No matter how much Yi Er wanted to cry, she didn't dare to. She forced herself to hold back her tears. This was her ability. Dad, no one bullied me. Jiang Zhao is very good to me. It's true. Don't lie to Dad. Dad isn't blind. He bit you. If Dad found out that you had to be like this when he came out, Dad would rather stay in there for the rest of his life. Yun Hongwei looked at Yi Er and felt bad. His daughter was only 19 years old. It wasn't as if he didn't know that she had been running around because of him. She had just been married, but her husband had bitten her until she had a high fever and was still unconscious. He thought of something more serious and asked anxiously, when Dad wasn't around, did he hit you? Yi Er was shocked. Jiang Zhao had hit her before, but that was because he wanted to snatch her life from Zhuang Yichen. Why would Dad think that? Yi Er, did he hit you? Yun Hongwei's voice rose a few notches. He squeezed Yi Er's shoulders a little harder. Dad just wants you and Sijie to live a safe and happy life. If you live like this, Dad won't do it outside. Yi Er, you're still young. Get a divorce. Just as Yun Hongwei finished speaking, the door opened again. Jiang Zhao strode into the room. His hands were still clenched at his sides. His brows were tightly knitted together. He looked at Yun Hongwei and called out in a low voice, Dad. When Jiang Zhao saw Yun Hongwei tilt his head to look at him, he wanted to relax his brows, but he couldn't. He wanted to explain, but now that he was in front of a father, no matter what he said, he would be in the wrong. Because of all the mistakes he had made, in the end, he had hurt the daughter of a gray-haired man. Especially when he saw Yun Hongwei's red eyes that were about to explode in anger, Jiang Zhao could only call out again, Dad. Yun Hongwei didn't say anything. He didn't want to respond. He really didn't want to. He could endure anything in prison. There were many ways to force him to confess. He could endure it, but his children were his flesh and blood. Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 510. Si Jia was still all right. Yi Er had always protected him and had never been short of anything. Every time he saw Si Jia grow taller and more energetic while Yi Er lost weight, he felt that he had let down his daughter the most. Yi Er was tall and beautiful. She looked a lot like her mother. Even though she was dressed plainly, she still stood out. Although she was a little sly, she wasn't a bad person. If she didn't have a father like him, even if she had a younger brother like Si Jia, she would still be able to marry into a good family. Even if she didn't marry into a rich family, she would still be able to live a life that was below average. In his expectations, Yi Er would definitely be able to find a man who would dote on her. Because Yi Er had been well-liked since she was young. Although it was said that as parents, no matter how ugly or useless their children were, Yun Hongwei felt that his analysis of Yi Er and Si Jia had always been very objective. Yun Hongwei stood up, looked up, and blinked. When he looked at Jiang Zhao again, his gaze was calm. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao and gulped. She felt that her father had misunderstood Jiang Zhao. She was at fault for the way things had developed yesterday, so she wanted to smooth things over. Dad, actually. Yun Hongwei looked at Jiang Zhao and said to Yi Er, the sick person should rest well. I'll go out with Jiang Zhao for a while. Yi Er hurriedly explained, Dad, it's my fault. Jiang Zhao didn't do it on purpose. Yun Hongwei simply couldn't listen to Yi Er's explanation. In his heart, he had already determined that Yi Er was compromising in front of Jiang Zhao for his sake. His ears seemed to be blocked by sound as he walked past Jiang Zhao and walked out. Jiang Zhao could only follow him out. At this moment, he glanced at Yi Er. Then he leaned back and said to Yi Er, you want a divorce? Dream on. Yi Er watched as Jiang Zhao walked out of the ward. She suddenly burst into laughter and muttered softly, who wants a divorce? Seriously. At the end of the corridor, there was a smoking area. It was a slightly larger balcony with a transparent glass door, so the smoke couldn't drift into the corridor. Although the space was not big, Yun Hongwei was the only one standing there. He was facing the night sky outside the balcony, and his back was very lonely, making this place seem especially empty. When Jiang Zhao walked over, Yun Sherdan happened to turn around. When he saw Jiang Zhao, Yun Hongwei felt his blood vessels congeal and his head spin. Jiang Zhao stood on the balcony. The lights in the private hospital were very bright, illuminating his handsome face. He called out softly, "Dad." Yun Hongwei was a little shorter than Jiang Zhao, but not by much. He was just a little thinner. When he heard Jiang Zhao call out to him, he said, "Jiang Zhao, I heard that it was Yi Er who forced you to marry her." After Yun Hongwei said this, he felt around in his trouser pockets as if he was looking for something. It was empty. Jiang Zhao took out a thin, bronze cigarette box that was 2.5 fingers wide. It could only hold 4 cigarettes. This kind of cigarette box could not be seen in the pocket, and it could also control the number of cigarettes a smoker smoked. He opened it, took out a cigarette, and handed it to Yun Hongwei. He also took out a lighter and lit it for him. When the lighter was covered, he slowly put it back into his pocket. Jiang Zhao originally wanted to avoid this question. It seemed that once this matter was brought up, it would be because he didn't want to marry Yi Er. At that time, he really didn't want to get married. No matter who it was, with the way they were dating, it was impossible for them to have the thought of getting married. It was only when they were riding a tiger that he realized that getting married was also possible. At that time, he had no other choice. Firstly, his father was about to come over and explain to the media. As long as he explained, Yi Er's reputation would be ruined forever. Secondly, it would affect his political image. Needless to say, even the Jiang and Qin families knew about this. How could he not know? Thirdly, and most importantly, he felt that only he could protect her. If this matter was made public, Miss Yun would offend even the deputy mayor. She would not be able to survive in Haicheng for the rest of her life. No matter where she went, she would be looked down upon. How could he let his woman be looked down upon? "Dad, the marriage was indeed rushed. But when we were doing it, we didn't want Yi Er to suffer." Yun Hongwei took a puff of his cigarette and exhaled the smoke outside the balcony. He held the cigarette between his fingers and let it hang by his side. Although he had been through a lot, he still looked kind. He did not have the unscrupulous look of a businessman. He sighed and said, "I know. What I mean is that Yi Er forced you to do this, right? I also know that you are not willing to do this. I know Yi Er. She is the eldest in the family. She is already 10 years old. That's why we have Si Jia." Yun Hongwei did not smoke. He sighed softly and said slowly, "Si Jia was born too late. She is the only one in the family. She has been a bully since she was young. She has a bad temper. That is because the whole family has spoiled her. After all, our family is not like other rich families who have many children. It is fate that we have children." Jiang Zhao saw that Yun Hongwei's brows were somewhat solemn, and he really didn't dare to interrupt and explain anything. This was the respect that should be given to people. He was anxious. Although Yun Hongwei had been in prison for a long time and suffered a lot of torture, he was, after all, a self-made man. The tenacity in his bones couldn't be seen from his appearance. He could almost imagine what Yun Hongwei would say, but he couldn't interrupt. Yun Hongwei reached out and pressed his temples. The white ash on the cigarette was a little long. It bent down slightly and broke off. It drifted to the ground and scattered into powder. Actually, she's overbearing, cunning, and always causes trouble. I've thought of ways to prevent all these. I just wanted to make her look more like a rich young lady. Those rich young ladies are all very dignified, but she doesn't look like one all day long. I was also very anxious, so I asked a teacher to teach her how to play the zither and learn calligraphy. I wanted to cultivate her temperament and train her patience." Yun Hongwei suddenly smiled, shook his head, and continued helplessly, but there was no way at all. She still likes to dance the national ballroom dance, what tap dance, what Latin dance, whatever she can jump as high as she can. Sigh, a kind father leads to a failure of a son. I was soft-hearted at that time and didn't properly suppress her, which caused her to become like this. She dares to force and provoke anyone. Yun Hongwei was very upset as he spoke. His daughter was like that in the past, but now that she was married, she seemed to have changed. She always looked at the treasure in his hands trying to please another man and was even bullied. Other than feeling upset, he only felt hatred. He hated himself for being useless. He caused such a big trouble and implicated his children. Jiang Zhao breathed out. Dad, Yi Er is very good. It was my fault yesterday. Actually. Jiang Zhao was really unwilling to talk about the new drawing, including the fact that this person was Yi Er's father. We were just fooling around yesterday. I didn't know what was important. Yun Hongwei raised his hand and waved it. He was very angry in his heart, but he spoke very calmly. Jiang Zhao, you don't have to protect her. As her father, I know best what kind of background she has. She only knows how to harm others. In the past, Min Zikai was bullied by her all the time. He paused for a moment and said, You are the mayor, and your family background is in Hai City and Jiang District. How many people can compare to you? The Yun family has declined, and I am involved in a lot of things. Our Yi Er is actually not good enough for you. He had only been back for a day, and he saw his daughter's shoulder being bitten like that. The flesh was torn. How much blood did she lose? What if he was not around? Would his daughter be subjected to domestic violence? When he thought of this, his scalp went numb. Although Yi Er was tall, how could she withstand domestic violence? A man who hit a woman was definitely not acceptable. Dad, you are making it sound too serious. Jiang Zhao raised his voice. He had guessed correctly. Yun Hongwei's words were to continue what he said to Yi Er in the ward. This father wanted his daughter to divorce her husband. Although he understood that a father was upset about his daughter's injury, there was a reason for this incident. If he knew that Yi Er would get a fever because of her wound and burn like that, he would rather bite himself than bite her. He was impulsive at that time, but what was the point of pursuing the reason for yesterday's incident? It seemed like they had made up last night and agreed not to pursue the matter of the painting, didn't they? Everything had an end. He couldn't possibly keep staring at that incident, right? If he kept brooding over the past, how was he going to live his life? Who could be innocent? Who had not done anything wrong? Who was born with a good temper and patience? Who was able to tolerate everything? Yun Hongwei looked at Jiang Zhao. He did not say anything, but the hand holding the cigarette had already flattened the long filter. Jiang Zhao had been very respectful to him since he came back yesterday, but now that he suddenly raised his voice, he did not look like someone to be trifled with at all. The more he acted like this, the more worried he was about his daughter's situation. Dad, I apologize for yesterday's incident, but the question of whether Yi Er is worthy of me is not something that's nice to talk about right now. Yi Er is my wife now. As long as I acknowledge her, she is worthy of me. Dad, no husband and wife can live without conflict for the rest of their lives. But I will try my best to resolve these conflicts. I understand how you feel, but this does not mean that I agree with your decision. Although our marriage did not receive your blessings, it does not mean that I will agree with you breaking us up. Jiang Zhao's tone was respectful, but every sentence was forceful and did not leave any room for negotiation. Dad, I know that you think I bullied Yi Er. Just now, I heard you ask Yi Er if I hit her. You must think that I often bully her, but to be honest, I have already done my best to tolerate Yi Er. I have almost never rejected anything that she wants. I think what happened today has left a bad impression of me, and I will do my best to make up for it. But I will not agree to a divorce. No matter what conditions you propose, I will not agree to them. Even if you ask Yi Er to sue me, I will not agree to it. If I had thought of a divorce when we got married, would not have gotten married at all. Why bother? Yun Hongwei did not expect Jiang Zhao to reject him so forcefully. He also did not expect that Jiang Zhao would not leave any room for negotiation and would not agree to any conditions. I did not ask Yi Er to marry into a rich family. It might be a blessing for her to live a simple and peaceful life. Without great wealth, there would not be great ups and downs. The most important thing for a woman was to have a stable life. Dad, I won't let her experience any hardships. Don't worry, Yi Er sat on the bed and waited for a long time, but her father and Jiang Zhao did not appear. It was not appropriate for her to go out. She felt that it would be troublesome for a woman to go out at this time. Finally, someone pushed the door open and entered. It was Xiaoya, who was wearing a big black sunglasses. Yi Er was a little disappointed and called out, "Sister Xiaoya." Xiaoya pushed her sunglasses up and placed them on top of her head. She placed the flowers in her hand on the table and looked around the room. She did not seem like a guest at all. Welfare, Songshu 566. Chapter 511. She was wearing a big bag, a long-sleeved dress, and smoke-colored high heels. Her figure was extremely hot. She walked casually in the room in her high heels. She was obviously a great beauty, but the words she said were very immoral. "Hey, you're a good person. I see that you're sitting on the bed very energetically. Are you waiting for a man to come and pretend to be a corpse? When did you become so despicable?" Yi Er felt that she should call Zhuang Yichen over and let that fierce man teach this despicable woman a lesson. "Hey, Sister Xiaoya, please mind your manners. Can't you care about your image as a famous designer? How can you come to visit a patient like this?" "Visit? When did I tell you that I'm here to visit you? I'm here to laugh at you. Besides, manners are for outsiders to see. You and I are on the same side. Haha. Get lost." "I'm not going to get lost." Qiu Xiaoya sat beside Yi Er. She picked up Yi Er's hand, looked at it, and patted it a few times. Only when Yi Er felt the pain did she let go. "I'll help you circulate your blood circulation so that you don't have to pretend to be sick." Yi Er was furious. This Qiu Xiaoya was clearly not here to visit her. How did Qiu Xiaoya know that she was hospitalized? She didn't contact anyone after she woke up. Who's pretending to be sick? "I have a high fever and I'm in shock. Do I have a friend like you? If you have a friend like me, you'll benefit for life." "Seriously. What are you doing here?" Xiaoya swayed her size 35 high heels. "I'm paying you, so you're here to help me." Yi Er rolled her eyes and glared at Xiaoya. "Qiu Xiaoya, can you not be so snobbish? I'm an injured person. You should at least show some concern before talking to me about serious matters." Xiaoya pursed her lips and patted Yi Er's shoulder. "You're the one who asked me to talk about serious matters. I can see that you're only suffering from some superficial injuries. It's not like you're mentally hurt. You don't have to worry about it. When your heart breaks one day, come and look for me. I'll definitely take good care of you." Yi Er's shoulder was already hurting a little. She immediately slapped Xiaoya's hand away. "Get lost, you jinx." This woman's mouth was vicious. "No, I'm here to talk to you about something." "I don't want to talk today." When Xiaoya saw Yi Er's refusal, she immediately stopped looking down on her and started to confide in her. "Yi Er, let me tell you. Sister Xiaoya has been through this before. You can't rely on a man forever. Tell me, in this society, which man is clean? If they don't find a prostitute, they're keeping mistresses. If they don't have extramarital affairs, they're having one-night stands. Today, you're young and beautiful. Tomorrow, when you're older and he's 50 years old, he'll still jump into the bed of an 18-year-old girl." Yi Er wanted to vomit blood. "Qiu Xiaoya, I'm going to record you and play it for Zhuang Yichen. Let's see if you still dare to say such things. Sister Xiaoya, there are good men in this world." "Who's a good man?" "Your husband." When Yi Er thought of that guy living in the north of the city, she could only say weakly, "Of course my husband is a good man." Xiaoya didn't want to argue with Yi Er anymore. "Oh, that's fine too. I can't say anything bad about him, but you should always be wary of the future. Let me put it this way. Let's be like buying stocks. Don't put all your money into a man's stock. Let's buy a few more stocks. For example, buy one for your career. That way, even if the man's stock falls below the issue price, the stock for your career will still rise. When that time comes, you'll find the stock that has fallen below the issue price an eyesore. It won't be a pity to throw it away." Yi Er obviously wasn't as experienced as Xiaoya, especially since this woman was speaking from the perspective of a friend. "Oh, what career?" Xiaoya said, "I've been thinking of doing a high-end customization for women's clothing. It's different from what we have now. Now, both men and women are accepted from the same place. I want to make women's clothing independent." Yi Er asked, "What has this got to do with me?" "You can be my model." "Model?" Yi Er shook her head. "Forget it. I'm considered tall among normal girls. I won't stand out among the models. Who cares about those tall models? None of them can compare to you. You're beautiful and have a good figure. If I start this brand, you can always appear in the magazines with me. I'll give you a high salary. What do you think?" Yi Er finally reacted. "Qiu Xiaoya, Qiu Xiaoya. This fox's brain works faster than hers. Yin Yi was just a miss from a wealthy family in the past. How many people did she know? She didn't have much social status. But now, it was different. She was the mayor's wife. If her husband worked harder, she might even be promoted to the governor's wife. That would be very different." Yi Er shook her head slowly. "Sister Xiaoya, how much are you paying me?" "At least 50,000 to 60,000 renminbi a month." "A salesman?" Yi Er smiled wickedly. "What? How can you treat me like a salesperson? I feel that it's about the same." Xiaoya snorted. "The difference is too big. Furthermore, think about it. 50,000 to 60,000 renminbi a month. It's easy to earn this money. What kind of job can you find outside to earn this much? Even if your mayor gives you a job, how much money can you get? Women still need to earn more money. Men can't be relied on." Yi Er saw that Jiang Zhao had entered the room silently. She didn't know how long he had been standing at the entrance, so she didn't dare to continue. Xiaoya, on the other hand, was still complaining. "Look, you know that aunt of yours. She relies on her husband to be a rich man's wife, but she can't give birth to a son. Her husband also doesn't give her a good face. If she was tougher and could earn as much money as me in a month, would her husband dare to give her a good face? Look. If you look, you will be sent flying with a slap and get lost. That's why you should hurry up and work. Don't be so silly and only rely on your man. You need to think about your future." Yi Er coughed to signal Xiaoya to stop talking. Xiaoya did not respond. She looked up at the ceiling and propped herself up on the bed. She poked Yi Er's forehead with her other hand. "Let me tell you. It's not safe for you to rely on your man all the time. You need to think of a way to get a good job. If your man dumps you one day, you will be able to take care of yourself. If not, you will lose your youth." Yi Er had never thought of depending on Jiang Zhao for the rest of her life. After the incident with the Yun family, she realized that she could not manage the family business well. Being ignorant and incompetent would not lead to a good ending. Now that she had the chance, she must study. But she did not dare to talk to Qiu Xiaoya. She was worried that she would have a hard time tonight. She called out to Jiang Zhao. "Hubby." Jiang Zhao's face was dark, but he suddenly smiled and clapped his hands. He looked at Xiaoya and praised. "Miss Qiu is really capable." Yi Er did not dare to look at Jiang Zhao. Qiu Xiaoya stood up from the bed and rubbed her hands. "Oh, Mayor. The corners of Jiang Zhao's lips curled into a smile, but the fire in his heart was already 8 feet high. So you came to see my wife just to brainwash her? I thought you are really concerned about her health. But you came here to teach her to be wary of her husband? Xiaoya laughed. Although she had not heard about this from Zhuang Yichen, she knew Zhuang Yichen and Jiang Zhao were close. She did not know if she had messed up this time. I'm just saying. You should really tell Zhuang Yichen what you think. It's all right. We have already broken up. Xiaoya admitted. Jiang Zhao chuckled. Is that so? I wonder if you can spend all the money you earn in a month? I am going to ask Zhuang Yichen if you should reduce your allowance. I don't want Yi Er to be jealous of you. We all know each other, and if the gap between the rich and the poor is so big, it will affect our relationship. Xiaoya was scolding Jiang Zhao in her heart. If she really went to look for Zhuang Yichen, no matter how much money she earned, Zhuang Yichen will clean it all up. Ha! Mayor Jiang, you really know how to joke. I do like to joke. But no matter how many shares a woman owns, she still needs to buy a man's check. After all, it's very rare to have a successful career. Xiaoya said. Jiang Zhao, you are such a wet blanket. Yi Er and I were chatting happily. But from what I saw, my wife can't accept your ideas. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er and raised his eyebrows. Yi Er immediately nodded. Yes, yes, yes. I can't accept it. I can't accept it. Qiu Xiaoya scolded Yi Er in her heart for being so useless and disloyal. After sending Qiu Xiaoya off, Jiang Zhao felt things were not going well today. His father-in-law wanted them to get a divorce, and he finally agreed to it. Another Qiu Xiaoya came to instill such negative thoughts in her mind. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao's mischievous smile as he pulled out a stool and sat down. Her instincts made her hair stand on end again. It was as if a voice was saying, "Little girl, don't be afraid. Actually, I just want to talk to you about life." Yi Er was expecting Jiang Zhao to say something, but he didn't say a word. She felt that the atmosphere was a little stiff, so she wanted to break it. Hubby, school hasn't started yet, so it's not so fast. I want to find a job tomorrow. Wait, what are you going to do? Jiang Zhao asked. Yi Er thought for a while and shrugged. Let's go and take a look first. What do you know? Jiang Zhao asked indifferently. I know how to dance. I've won awards before. Oh, you're asking me, Jiang Zhao's wife, to go out and dance? No, no. I'm going to see if there are any coaching jobs. That's not suitable. With your status, you can't do any job. Yi Er disagreed. It's nothing. The head of state's wife is a singer. He's from the arts troupe. The arts troupe is a military unit. How can it be the same? He's an artist. If you go and become a coach, you'll just be a ragtag army. Then, I'll give you a month to choose the profession you want to study. You can't try Qiu Xiaoya's high-end custom-made clothes. Her pricing hasn't been released yet. If she's very high-end, you can't wear her clothes. If people catch you trying to create hype, you'll get into trouble. Jiang Zhao said as he picked up an apple and started peeling it. He continued, Zhuang Yichen said that Qiu Xiaoya is careless, but I don't think Qiu Xiaoya is careless. She's always been very calculative. The brand YA is the crab that Zhuang Yichen eats first. Zhuang Yichen is a rich and handsome man. As long as he shows his face in a magazine, he'll be more popular than a celebrity. He just has to casually mention where he got his clothes made and it'll be worth a lot of advertising fees. Besides, how many people give face to Zhuang Yichen? During that time, he gave clothes to his friends and everyone wore them. That's how it became popular in the upper-class circle. The media even praised it and said that this was a good atmosphere. Haicheng isn't like the nouveau riche in other cities who pursue expensive luxury goods. Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 5:12. Yi Er felt that Zhuang Yichen was not the kind of person who would help others. Didn't you say that they aren't together anymore? Huh, do you believe that? I don't believe it. Zhuang Yichen doesn't seem like the kind of person who would make a losing deal. After peeling the apple, she cut out a tooth and inserted the fruit knife into the tooth. She picked it out and brought it to Yi Er's mouth. You're on good terms with Qiu Xiaoya now. It's good that they haven't really broken up. Yi Er recalled what Jiang Zhao had said before. Her father's matter required her to keep Zhuang Yichen in check, but she didn't think that Qiu Xiaoya could have any influence on Zhuang Yichen. That man was so shrewd that she couldn't see through him. Where's Dad? Yi Er asked as she ate the apple. Dad said that he went to settle the discharge procedures. He also took your medicine. What Jiang Zhao didn't say was that Yun Hongwei wanted to stand on the balcony to enjoy the breeze. He was probably feeling a little sad. Saying that he went to settle the discharge procedures was just an excuse. He wanted to calm himself down before coming in. Sister-in-law. Jiang Zhao saw that Yi Er was about to finish the first tooth of the apple, so he prepared to cut another tooth for her. As soon as the knife went in, he heard a voice that was so soft that it made his hair stand on end. Yi Er wanted to laugh, but she couldn't. She laughed dryly. Miss Tseng. Tseng Tingting walked to Yi Er's bedside with flowers in one hand and a thermos in the other. She still looked like a well-bred young lady, but the next second, she pushed Jiang Zhao aside and sat down. She opened the thermos and filled it with porridge. This morning, I heard from Dad's secretary that Jiang Zhao's wife was sick and that she was running around at work. So I called Jiang Zhao. He said that you had a high fever, so I came to take a look. Yi Er did not know what Tseng Tingting was up to. He broke out in a cold sweat. Actually, it's nothing much. I'm fine now. I'm ready to be discharged. Eat something. I heard that it's easy to get weak when you have a high fever, and you don't have much appetite. I made some red-skinned peanut porridge. It's nutritious and light. When Tseng Tingting finished speaking, she had already packed the porridge. Just as she was about to let Yi Er eat, Jiang Zhao interrupted, your sister-in-law just ate half a bowl. Still full. Tseng Tingting looked unhappy. She picked up the bowl and took a sip. She glared at Jiang Zhao. Really, you narrow-minded stinky man. Are you afraid that I'll drug your wife? Yi Er and Jiang Zhao felt awkward at the same time. Yi Er was being propped up on the table. Even if he wasn't hungry, he could only pick up his bowl and eat. Thank you, Miss Tseng. Call me Tingting. Yes, Tingting. Sister-in-law, I'm here to tell you that I want to steal your husband from you. Before Tseng Tingting could finish her sentence, Yi Er choked on the porridge and coughed. Eating someone from you is the right thing to say? She wanted to bribe her with a bowl of red-skinned peanut porridge. Jiang Zhao was only worth the price of a bowl of porridge. Shouldn't he at least exchange it with a bowl of egg-fried rice? Tseng Tingting pulled out a tissue from her bag and handed it to Yi Er. She continued, I don't think this counts as backstabbing. In today's society, competition is fair. Plus, with my understanding of Jiang Zhao, I can totally take him down. Jiang Zhao clicked his tongue and frowned. He had one arm around his waist and the other on it. His fingers curled as he rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Tingting, actually, I think that the next time you talk to your sister-in-law about something so serious, can you bring some abalone porridge or bird's nest? I should be more expensive than a bowl of peanut porridge, right? Yi Er choked on the porridge again. Was this what it meant to have telepathy? She looked up at Jiang Zhao. Hubby, can we not talk about the porridge and your relationship? I wanted to at least eat some porridge, but it's not very useful. Are you saying that I'm very useful? Of course. Tseng Tingting was ignored again. She was often ignored by Jiang Zhao, so she was used to it. But now, she was being ignored by the couple. She was really irritated. Yi Er felt that Tseng Tingting was just a little crazy. Being stubborn was not a bad thing, but being stubborn was a little stupid. If it were her, she would have gone to the north of the city to get rid of the guy. No matter what, that guy over there was the real threat. Didn't that big lover say that they had feelings for each other for more than 10 years? What was she? She was the wife in name, but in her husband's heart, she was not even as important as that big lover. So, if she couldn't distinguish the enemy, she was destined to be defeated. But she was not that far off. Tseng Tingting's failure was foreseeable, but her failure was unforeseeable. Maybe one day, she would be kicked off the position of Mrs. Jiang by that big lover. Sister-in-law. Tseng Tingting endured for a long time this time. After she called out to her, Yi Er said, "Sister-in-law." Tseng Tingting stood up and looked at Yi Er, then at Jiang Zhao. She smiled confidently. "Sister-in-law, I'll be leaving first. I came here today to say goodbye to you. Tomorrow, I'll be going to Jiang Zhao's building to work. Don't you know that the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first?" Jiang Zhao nodded. Tingting is right. That's the truth. You've read a lot of books. You can even understand the profound meaning of, the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. You're better than your sister-in-law. Yi Er pursed her lips and glared at Jiang Zhao bitterly. She said softly, "Why don't you let Tingting come to our house to work part-time? That way, you'll be closer. You'll be eating and sleeping at home every day. This way, Tingting can eat at the same table as you every day." Jiang Zhao was unhappy. He felt that Yi Er didn't care about her anymore. She was here to steal her husband. Didn't she know how to steal her husband? Was she an idiot? Tseng Tingting snorted. "Yin Yi Er, you're going too far. You actually want me, Tseng Tingting, to work part-time for you. How dare you say that? I'm from the Provincial Party Committee." Yi Er smiled and said, "You're the daughter of the Provincial Party Committee's secretary. I know that. I'm not stupid. I'm just unhappy that my husband said that I don't even understand the meaning of, the pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. I just want to try my best to explain that I understand the meaning of this sentence very well. That's why I asked you to come to our house. But I have to make things clear first. Our house is about 300 square meters. We have 5 rooms and 3 living rooms. Jiang Zhao and I change our clothes every day. Some of our clothes have to be sent to the dry cleaners. Some of our clothes have to be hand-washed. The bed sheets and blankets have to be changed once a week. The floor has to be cleaned every day." "Enough." Tseng Tingting stomped her feet angrily. Did this Yunyi really want her to work part-time for her? Bah. Jiang Zhao stood to the side and didn't say a word. He listened with great interest. He always enjoyed this kind of process. Lu Qing always shook his head when he saw Tseng Tingting. He was always afraid of offending her. He ignored her most of the time. He didn't expect that Yi Er wouldn't be afraid of this tough piece of meat and insisted on taking a bite. Interesting. Yun Hongwei took the medicine and listened into the room and began to bury his head in tidying up Yi Er. Yi Er didn't feel any discomfort to begin with, so she quickly changed her clothes. Tseng Tingting wanted to say something, but she was thinking about what to say. This was because she didn't know how to deal with a big wife like Yun Yi. Unlike other women, if they knew that someone was trying to steal their husband, they would come out and make a scene. Instead of saying, "You can call my husband and chat with me," she would say, "Come to my house and work part-time. You'll have more opportunities." If this wasn't a weirdo, then what was? When Unwu found out that Yi Er was hospitalized, he rushed to the hospital without eating dinner. If his grandfather hadn't asked Qin Rongfang out for dinner that night, he wouldn't have known that Yi Er had a high fever and fainted from the fever. Qin Rongfang originally wanted to go over to check on Yi Er at night, but Xi Jintian invited him to dinner. Jiang Zhao also said that it wasn't a big deal, so he let it go. Unwu found out from Qin Rongfang which hospital Yi Er was hospitalized at, so he excused himself and left. When he rushed to the hospital, Jiang Zhao happened to be walking out of the elevator with his arm around Yi Er. He didn't look well and was so pale that he didn't have any luster. When Jiang Zhao saw Unwu, his lips were pursed into a stiff smile, but no one could tell. Unwu didn't even greet Jiang Zhao and asked Yi Er anxiously, "What happened? Why is she hospitalized?" Yi Er tilted her head and looked up at Jiang Zhao. Seeing that Jiang Zhao didn't react, she answered Unwu, "She caught a cold yesterday and slept a little late, so she got a fever." Jiang Zhao put his arm around Yi Er's shoulder and said, "Honey, when we go back today, let's go to bed early and not stay up late." In the ears of others, these words were extremely ambiguous. Unwu simply looked up at Jiang Zhao. Yesterday, when he asked Yi Er to take the painting back, he was hoping that Jiang Zhao would find out that he was the one who had painted for Yi Er. There was nothing to hide. He just liked Yi Er. Jiang Zhao replied disdainfully. Yun Hongwei came back from outside the hospital and happened to see a group of people at the elevator door. He said to Yi Er, "We've put everything back in the car. Let's go." The group of people had just taken a few steps when Unwu called out to Jiang Zhao. "Zhao Gu, let's have a chat." His voice was calm and carried a hint of a smile. Jiang Zhao stopped in his tracks. He didn't immediately turn around but patted Yi Er's shoulder and said, "Go to the car with Dad first. It's cold now and the wind is very strong. You'll catch a cold when it's just right. I'll come over in a bit." Yi Er nodded. Jiang Zhao had warned her not to be alone with Unwu again. She had also agreed, so it was time for her to leave. Moreover, she felt very awkward right now. It wasn't just an ordinary awkwardness, so girls shouldn't casually take nude photos. If they drew nude paintings, they would run into trouble one day. Jiang Zhao was just turning around when Unwu walked over. "Do you want to go to the car? If there's anything you want to say, just say it." Unwu looked much weaker next to Jiang Zhao. However, the light slowly gathered in his eyes, increasing his strength every second. He said provocatively, "You know, right?" The thing that made Jiang Zhao choke was the painting. Yunwa's eyes were telling him, "You know, right?" Yi Er's body was very beautiful. She clenched her fists and smiled faintly. "It seems like this isn't a suitable place to talk. Let's go upstairs." When Jiang Zhao finished speaking, he had already taken a long step to the side of the elevator. He reached out his hand and poked the triangle icon with his well-defined fingers. He softly said, "Okay." Unwu followed and stood beside Jiang Zhao. His elegant and beautiful appearance made Jiang Zhao's handsome face even more furious. The elevator went straight to the 5th floor and stopped. Jiang Zhao walked in front and Unwu followed behind. The two of them entered Yi Er's room. When Jiang Zhao closed the door, he pressed the "Do Not Disturb" button. Just as the light was pressed and Unwu steadied himself, Jiang Zhao suddenly threw a punch at the left side of his face. This punch directly hit the spot where Unwu was standing. He bent over and held his face, rubbing it. The taste of blood filled his mouth. Jiang Zhao reached out to unbutton his suit and wanted to take off his clothes. Talk your ass." Just as he took off his clothes to his elbow, Unwu suddenly looked up. His fair and slender fingers suddenly clenched into an iron fist and lifted it up. Jiang Zhao was just about to catch Unwu's fist, but his suit had just been taken off. This slow slap caused him to be pushed against the wall by the force of gravity. A line of blood immediately appeared at the corner of his mouth. Awesome novel, Shinwu 799. Chapter 513. Yunwa's punch was extremely fast. His eyes, which were originally as cold as moonlight, were now stained with bright red blood. Jiang Zhao's back was against the wall. When he saw the fist coming, his neck quickly tilted to the side, causing the fist to hit the wall heavily. Taking advantage of this split second, he raised his elbow and hit Yunwa's back with full force. There was limited space at the entrance, and at this moment, the two tall men took up a lot of space, making it even more cramped as they fought. The fight didn't look spectacular, and it was very childish. The two men lay on the ground on their sides, twisting their elbows to pin each other down. Their eyes were fierce, but they were both injured. Unwoo panted. Jiang Zhao, there's no point in hogging something that doesn't belong to you. Jiang Zhao smiled faintly and replied, unfortunately, she can only belong to me. Yunwoo's expression was extremely calm, but the strength in his hands didn't weaken. But she doesn't love you. She just had to rely on you because she had no one to rely on at that time. If she had known about my family background earlier, do you think she would have been with you? She would have relied on me willingly instead of being forced because she trusts me. This was the thing that Jiang Zhao didn't want to talk about the most, and he didn't want to think about it in detail. He had always thought that as long as they continued to be together, they would develop feelings for each other. Someone once said that women and men were different. If a man had no interest in a woman from the beginning, and if he couldn't develop feelings for her, he wouldn't be able to build feelings for her. But women were different. Even if she married a burly man, even if she didn't love him at first, as long as that man treated her well, she would forcibly brainwash herself and tell herself that this man was good to her and that she could love him. Then, many years later, she would realize that she really did love him. When she had lied to him about getting into a car accident, he knew that he had fallen. He had completely fallen. If he had fallen, so be it. He had accepted it. Some people could only see the end of their relationship after a lifetime. He was considered lucky, wasn't he? However, the problem between them did not last long. Many years later, they had not been married for long. Before he could make her feel that he was good, there were already groups of people jumping out and trying to sow discord between them. Shi Unwoo said that Yi trusted him. Fuck you. If she didn't trust me, she wouldn't have asked me to draw for her. Don't you know that? Hearing this, Jiang Zhao's face changed. He hated this. Thinking of this, his blood surged. He thought that it was necessary to dig a basement here immediately and bury Shi Unwoo in the basement after killing him. He wanted to make this wolf in sheep's clothing disappear from the world forever. Jiang Zhao suddenly felt an uncontrollable force rush out of his body. The original stalemate instantly changed. Jiang Zhao flipped over and pinned Unwoo down. He broke free of their bindings and threw a punch at Yunwoo's face. He took a deep breath and spat at Unwoo. You're so pathetic that you think too highly of yourself. Why do you have to say such words without any confidence to comfort yourself? Unwoo indeed had no confidence. If his words had hit Jiang Zhao's weak spot, then Jiang Zhao's words had also hit him where it hurt. He exploded with strength and did a small carp flip, sending Jiang Zhao, who had just gained the upper hand, to the ground. Yi was waiting anxiously in the car. Why did the two of them take so long just to have a chat? She was not at ease at all. She was very anxious, especially since she knew the cause and effect of the incident. Unwoo was a simple person, but Jiang Zhao's performance yesterday made her know that Jiang Zhao would not give up so easily. Yi knew Jiang Zhao's mentality, but she did not know Yunwoo's intentions. She started to worry and said to Yun Hongwei, Dad, I'll go up and look for Jiang Zhao. Why is he still not down after so long? Yun Shidi said. Don't go. It's windy outside. Didn't Jiang Zhao ask you to wait for him in the car? I still want to go and take a look. I'm still worried. Yi did not listen to Yun Hongwei. She opened the car door, pulled her sweater, and walked into the hospital. Jiang Zhao was not in the lobby. She did not see anyone in the high-end private hospital. She went to the reception desk to ask and was told that Jiang Zhao had pressed the elevator and went upstairs. Upstairs? Which floor? Who is he looking for? Just when she was about to take out her phone to call Jiang Zhao, the elevator opened, and a nurse, Miss, ran out. She ran to the reception desk and said to Miss from the consultation desk. There's a fight on the 5th floor. Mayor Jiang went in with someone and pressed the anti-disturbance lights. I don't know what to do now. Help me answer the call from the hospital director and ask him to think of a solution. Miss said while stomping her feet. Yi had already run to the elevator and pressed the triangle button a few times. When the elevator opened, she rushed in. Fight? Fight. She knew that this matter would not end here. When she reached the 5th floor, she turned on the anti-disturbance lights and opened the door. She stood at the door and looked at the two men fighting. She was stunned. You too. As soon as Enyu heard Ye's voice, he immediately withdrew his hand. At this moment, Jiang Zhao's leg came over and kicked him in the stomach. His entire center of gravity shifted, and he fell back, barely landing beside Ye's feet. When he raised his eyes to look at Ye, his eyes were filled with grievance and injustice. Ye had never seen Unwu like this. It was not because of his injuries. It was because of his eyes. He used to be calm in the past. Even if he did not have any desires, he was not weak. He had never shown any grievances before. Unwu. Ye squatted down and helped Unwu up. His lips opened a few times, but no words came out. The moment Jiang Zhao saw this situation, he knew it was over. Xianyo, that bastard, actually dared to play such a trick. In this world, other than Jiang Zhao, no one else knew about his grandson's background. He was no longer a child. Given the relationship between the Shi family and the Lei family, even if it was for his grandfather's sake, it was impossible for him to spread the news. Yin Yi, come over here. Jiang Zhao raised his hand to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth. When he saw that Yi was about to get up, Shi Unwu, that bastard, actually cried out in pain again. Yi immediately squatted down and helped him up. I'll call the doctor for you right now. Just bear with it. Unwu immediately grabbed Yi-er's hand and fell into Yi-er's arms. He was very sensible and did not blame Jiang Zhao at all. It's okay, I'll go back later. I don't see patients outside. I have a family doctor at home. It's fine, don't worry. Jiang Zhao closed his eyes. It's over, it's over. How come I didn't know that there was such a good actor in this world? That look of wanting to eat someone alive just now disappeared in an instant. No wonder this best actor could take the hits even though he could have dodged them. Was it to make it seem like his injuries were more serious? As expected, his skills were profound and his endurance was extraordinary. He couldn't do it. Especially when he saw his wife hugging another man and comforting him, he couldn't do it. Yun Yi. I'll say it one more time. Come here. Know your place. Yi raised his head and looked at Jiang Zhao. Then he looked at Yunwu's face, which was already beyond recognition. Why did Jiang Zhao hit him so hard? Wasn't this a little too harsh? Wait a minute, I'll call a nurse for Unwu. Unwu thought that perhaps Yi also had feelings for him, but at this time, he had to know his limits. If he overdid it, it would be meaningless. Go to Zhao Gu. There was a misunderstanding between us. You don't have to blame him. Besides, when I couldn't take it anymore, I hit Zhao Gu too. We're even now. Go ahead. When Yi heard Unwu say, when I couldn't take it anymore, I hit Zhao Gu too, she felt incredibly guilty. She was the one who wanted Unwu to draw the painting. Yesterday, she wasn't satisfied with being bitten by Jiang Zhao. Today, she hit Unwu again. In any case, she had implicated Unwu. What did a boy like Unwu do wrong? Why did he have to be beaten so badly? It was impossible to say that she didn't blame Jiang Zhao in her heart. However, when it came to Jiang Zhao, she didn't have the confidence she had when it came to Min Zikai. She didn't dare to be rash or act recklessly. She couldn't say anything, but what she could do was to ignore him. Yes, ignore Jiang Zhao. Okay. Don't be stubborn. Lie down for a while. I'll call the nurses. These nurses don't dare to come in. Just wait here. Yi didn't look at Jiang Zhao. She directly laid Unwu flat, stood up, turned around, and walked to the door to pull it open. Unwu lay on the floor. When he heard the sound of Yi turning around and walking away, he raised his head and looked at Jiang Zhao, who was standing inside. He raised his eyebrows and smiled. This could be considered a strategic victory, right? When Jiang Zhao saw this, he got angry. He closed his eyes and told himself to calm down first. This Shi Yunwu's tolerance was too good. If he still vented everything out, he would really be done for today. Yun Yi. Jiang Zhao called out to Yi Er. His voice sounded a little rushed, and it sounded like he had used a lot of strength. Yi Er heard him clearly and immediately turned around. What's wrong? I'll talk to you. Jiang Zhao continued to pant. His shoulders slumped, and he staggered a step. He reached out to support himself against the wall. Yi Er had already turned around to support his other arm. Jiang Zhao said, "Don't go out. Open the door, call the Shi family and have them come to pick me up. If you open the door now, I'll be in the news tomorrow. You want your husband to lose his job, don't you?" Jiang Zhao's words were intermittent, and he was already injured. At this moment, his brows were furrowed, and it seemed like his injury was serious. Yi Er saw that Jiang Zhao's injury wasn't as serious as Yunwu's, but his voice and speed were too scary. Yi Er reached out to touch his body. "Where are you hurt?" During Jiang Zhao's fight with Enyu, he had hit Enyu's face, so the inner wall of his mouth was damaged. At this time, there was already some blood in his mouth. As long as he sucked harder, the blood would come faster. He didn't speak for a long time, like he was in too much pain to speak. Unwu was still lying on the floor, and he groaned softly. Yi Er was worried about both sides. Unwu was still able to groan, but Jiang Zhao looked like he was in pain. Yi Er asked Jiang Zhao anxiously, "What happened?" Jiang Zhao waved his hand, telling Yi Er not to worry. He was fine. However, when he turned around and sat down on the bed, he spat out a mouthful of blood on the bed. Yi Er was scared out of her wits. Before Jiang Zhao could say anything, she ran out like a gust of wind. The sound of the door being unlocked was loud. Then, Yi Er ran outside and shouted, "Doctor, doctor." Jiang Zhao heard the commotion outside and smiled. He immediately stood up from the bed and walked to the entrance. He looked at Unwu lying on the floor and kicked him. He laughed. "Once you get up, Yun Yi will be back before you can fight back. Haha. Come and see." Hongcha 866. Chapter 514. After saying that, he looked at Unwu, who wanted to get up but was holding himself back. He immediately walked back to lie on the bed and said proudly to the ceiling, "Shi Unwu, the floor is so cold, isn't it? It's more comfortable on the bed. You should know what it means to be a married couple now, right? My marriage certificate with Yun Yi was stamped with a steel seal, not an advertisement on a telephone pole. Do you understand?" Unwu clenched his fists and trembled. Just now, Jiang Zhao's saliva was diluted into a bloody foam. Yunwu's blood was really stuck in his throat. He shook his fist and hammered the ground. Jiang Zhao sneered, "You're quite strong. Your body is really good. Why don't you think about who you're scheming against? I have a problem. What I like to do the most is a tooth for an eye for a life. Don't be my enemy, because I'm very petty." Although Jiang Zhao's words were a little overboard, he was indeed a vengeful person. If he was scheming against, he didn't care about the small matter. As long as it didn't affect the big picture and it was related to the big picture, he would consider the big picture and not pursue the matter. Even he had a bottom line that he couldn't cross. Stealing his wife? No man could accept it. He couldn't cripple or kill Shi Yunwu now, but he could return the tricks that Shi Yunwu had used on him. He couldn't return a tooth for an eye for a life, but at least he had to return a tooth for a tooth. Didn't Shi Yunwu, this grandson, pretend to be seriously injured? Fine, he couldn't let himself be wronged. He had to add another kick to make up for this grandson's performance. Didn't Shi Yunwu pretend to be pitiful? Who didn't know how to pretend to be pitiful? His wife acted cute, coquettish, and pitiful for him every day at home to gain sympathy. Even if he hadn't eaten pork before, he had watched a pig run for a long time. He had no choice. He had a good master at home, so he didn't act without reason. Jiang Zhao, that's all you can do. Let's see who can last longer. I'll keep you company. Jiang Zhao lay on the bed and stretched. Just by relying on the difference in treatment between us now? One on the bed, the other on the floor. Let's see who can lie down for a day. Unwu was so angry that he had to take deep breaths to suppress his impulse. He really wanted to jump up and beat up Jiang Zhao, but he was worried about Yi Er's footsteps outside. Yi Er dragged the doctor into the room. When Jiang Zhao heard the sound, he immediately turned to the side and curled up. He frowned in pain. Yi Er asked someone to carry Unwu to another ward. Yi Er did not notice Yunwu's resentful and reluctant gaze. She quickly walked to Jiang Zhao's bedside and reached out to grab Jiang Zhao's hand. Tell the doctor, where are you hurt? Huh? Yi Er was really anxious. Jiang Zhao was a very boring person. She knew that this man was definitely a male chauvinist. Didn't all men who grew up in a place like the Qin family think that they were dying of manliness? Of course, Qin Fian was a weirdo. Jiang Zhao definitely thought that he was quite capable and manly. He was determined not to admit that he was seriously injured in front of a woman. The more Jiang Zhao did not say anything, the more Yi Er was at a loss. Doctor, why don't we just send him to take an X-ray? Yi Er was originally the one hospitalized, but now the roles were reversed. It was Jiang Zhao. Yi Er also stayed in the hospital. She simply asked Yun Hongwei to go back. She had to take care of Jiang Zhao when they went to pick up her brother tomorrow. When the time came, she would send someone to pick him up with her father. This way, it wouldn't affect each other. Jiang Zhao fought with Unwu and was injured. He definitely couldn't go to work, but the reason for his injury was actually acting bravely for a just cause, in the report. The next day, Yi Er drew the curtains open to let the sunlight into the room. The withered branches and leaves outside were blown around by the wind. Other than evergreen plants like holly, it was really a bleak scene. Yi Er thought about Jiang Zhao's acting bravely for a just cause, and was speechless. She didn't know what kind of righteousness this guy saw and what kind of bravery he had. She turned around and saw Jiang Zhao leaning against the headboard and reading the newspaper. She walked over and sat down. Yi Er said as she peeled an apple, "Hey, you really have the nerve to write such a reason for your injury. Even I feel embarrassed for you." Jiang Zhao looked indifferent. He flipped through the newspaper in his hand and swung his legs. He didn't look like a patient at all and sighed. "Actually, I'm also very embarrassed, but this was written by Lu Cheng without my permission." So this is Lu Cheng's fault? If Lu Cheng didn't write a leave for you, what are you going to report? Jiang Zhao thought for a moment. He flipped through the newspaper in his hand and continued reading. "I have to think about what kind of injury I suffered to get more compensation and a longer leave. It's best if it can be recorded so that it'll be beneficial for my promotion in the future." As he said that, he clicked his tongue. Lu Cheng is also brainless. How can he be so unskilled when applying for a leave of absence? I have to talk to him properly next time. My salary is so low. I should ask him to check if I have work-related injury leave that is 3 to 5 times my salary for a day of injury. Yi Er wanted to stab the fruit knife in her hand directly into the man's mouth and twist it until his intestines and stomach rot. He couldn't say such immoral things anymore. Aren't you afraid that someone will investigate you? Say that you made a false report? Oh. Jiang Zhao pursed his lips and shook his head childishly. I'm so scared. Haha. Yi Er decided to finish peeling the apple and stuff it into the man's mouth. That was the most important thing right now. Otherwise, if she let him continue being so smug, she would feel inferior. Jiang Zhao saw that Yi Er wasn't going to banter with him anymore, so he put the newspaper on his lap. Yin Yi, you went to see that Brett this morning, right? No. Yi Er handed the apple in her hand to Jiang Zhao. I plan to go take a look later. Just like how I cut it yesterday. Jiang Zhao glared at Yi Er and said angrily. Oh. Yi Er started cutting the apple again. Jiang Zhao said coldly, when I was injured and hospitalized, if you dared to take a step out of my room, I'll teach you a lesson. If you don't believe me, you can try. You were the one who injured him. He didn't hit me. Take a look for yourself. Am I not injured? What's more, that brat Xiun Wu is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I told you to stay away from him, not discuss it with you. Yi Er's expression changed. Un Wu was a special person to her. They weren't very close, but strangely, she felt like he was a very good friend. It could be said that for a long time, she found a lot of comfort on Wudong Street because of those eyes. It made her believe that there were still clean things in the world and that the world wasn't that ugly. It was just that she happened to encounter ugly things and people. However, she wasn't completely unlucky because she met such a clean boy. When she was in a bad mood, she liked to go there to look for him. Sometimes, standing by his side and watching him draw was also a kind of enjoyment. When Jiang Zhao told her to stay away from Un Wu, she could agree, but she couldn't tolerate Jiang Zhao insulting Un Wu like this. You really are something. You told me to stay away from him, so I stayed away. Why did you have to attack him personally? I was the one who brought up the matter of drawing. You've already bitten me and punished me. Now you're picking on other people's matters. What kind of man are you? Jiang Zhao was stunned. He knew that no one around would believe that Xiun Wu was the biggest liar, but he still wanted to tell Yi Er that Xiun Wu wasn't what he appeared to be and should stay away from him. This person was too dangerous. As her husband, there was nothing wrong with reminding her like this. What was she doing now? Why was she filled with righteous indignation? Protecting him? I'm not a man. Jiang Zhao's expression darkened even more. His voice gradually became muffled, as if something was stuck in his throat. It was uncomfortable. I'm not a man. He's a man. You care so much about his image? Isn't he a wolf in sheep's clothing? A personal attack? So what if I'm attacking him personally? You're my wife. So what if I'm attacking him? No matter who I attack, you should be on my side. You're my woman. Don't you know where you stand? Yi Er had already stood up, but when she heard Jiang Zhao's last sentence, she was stunned and couldn't leave the room. It wasn't because she was touched, but because of where he stood. Her position had always been that she had to obey him. Otherwise, everything that happened to her would become unbearable. Someone would come and snatch her younger brother away. Someone would immediately send her father to prison. She relied on him to make a living. Suddenly, she remembered what Xiao Yaqiu had said. She was right. Women were useless and deserved to be bullied. A man could kill and seize with a wave of his hand. You had no right to argue with him about who was right or wrong. You had no right to argue with him. What he said was the rules. His rules were the rules. Yi Er lowered her head and sat down. She continued to slice the apple. She had always been able to tolerate it. It wasn't the first time he was being unreasonable. What was there to be uncomfortable about? He had said before that she shouldn't think too highly of herself and shouldn't be calculative with him. She placed the sliced apple next to Jiang Zhao's mouth. Eat it. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er and suddenly felt like burning the house down. No matter how angry he was, she could choose to ignore him and treat him lightly. A 19-year-old girl actually had such skills. She definitely wasn't human in her previous life. Thinking about what Yun Hongwei had said, did he really wrong her? What did he do to make her feel wronged? Ever since she got together with him, he didn't even ask anyone to take care of her younger brother. He was just waiting for her. When she said that she missed her father, he would think of a way for her. Although he wasn't completely acquitted, being released for medical treatment was much more comfortable than being in prison. He also asked Zhuang Yichen to speed up the investigation of the opponent. He saw that the house she lived in was small and old. He had long wanted to change it to a bigger one. After all, she used to be Mississippi. Even if she wasn't a miss from a wealthy family, he had a reason to let his woman live a better life. He had never shortchanged her in food and clothing. He didn't even give her living expenses. Instead, he gave her one of the company's dividend cards and never asked how much she spent. He tried his best to get closer to her family. He brought her younger brother to the amusement park and was polite when he spoke to her father. He never put himself in a high position. But the feeling he got from her was that when it came to a critical moment, she immediately obeyed him with the attitude that he was still useful to her. She really didn't feel that he was good at all. He didn't even know how she would treat him after the incident with her father was over. Reveal her true colors? Jiang Zhao suddenly had a self-harming thought. This day would come soon. He really wanted to fight with her. He really wanted to know how she would bare her fangs and brandish her claws to him when he was no longer of any use. Yunwa's ward was on the 4th floor. Shi Jintian rushed over after receiving Yi Er's call. He was so scared that his soul almost left his body. Only he knew that Yunwa's heart had been replaced. He was most worried about whether his life would be in danger after being beaten like that. The family doctor naturally followed him, but Unwu refused to be discharged and insisted on staying in the hospital. If it was anyone else who had beaten Unwu, he would have killed that person's entire family if they dared to lay a finger on him. But it just had to be Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao was also hospitalized. Since ancient times, beauties were trouble. Beauty novels, Hongcha 866. Chapter 5:15. Unwu said generously, "Grandpa, this isn't a matter of whether I can bear it or not. I once drew a nude picture of Yi Er, and Jiang Zhao knows about it. He now knows that I like Yi Er, so we have a grudge. But this is between the two of us. It has nothing to do with the family." In the face of Yunwa's relaxed indifference, Shi Jintian only wanted to grab a vase and smash it on Yunwa's head. He wondered if that would wake him up. This grudge had nothing to do with the family? Could it have nothing to do with it? This was the daughter-in-law of a wealthy family, not the daughter-in-law of an ordinary worker's family. If anything happened to her, the whole of Haicheng would know. No one would be able to shut their mouths then. You don't know what's important. Shi Jintian scolded loudly. This was something that had never happened before. I don't know what's important. Grandpa, when I met Yi Er, Jiang Zhao was still squatting in some corner. What's wrong with me drawing a picture of Yi Er? I do like Yi Er. Am I wrong? Yun was originally casual and slow speech became hurried and agitated at this point. I'm already 20 years old. Am I wrong to like a girl? I didn't start liking her after she got married. I've liked her for a long time. You told me not to be shocked, not to be angry, not to have any desires, but Grandpa, is that something I can control? I've controlled myself before. I thought it wasn't because I liked her. I've been controlling myself too much, and that's why Jiang Zhao got away with it. Did I want to create such a situation? Just because I had a heart transplant, I couldn't be happy for more than 10 years. Now that my heart is fine, is it too much for me to want to get a girl I like? Is it too much? Unwu, don't get agitated. Grandpa, don't be like this. You always tell me not to be agitated, not to be agitated. But yesterday, I was very agitated. I hit Jiang Zhao, and Jiang Zhao also hit me. My heart is fine. Grandpa, I can be agitated, I can. I can have emotions like a normal person. I can be unhappy. I can get angry when I encounter something that makes me angry. I can vent my anger when I can't take it anymore. I can use the power of jealousy to rush into my fist and hit people. I can use my anger to fight against my love rival. Yunwa's eyes turned red, and his decibel level suddenly rose again. Ah! With a long howl, Shi Jintian, who was scared to tears, hurriedly stepped forward and patted Yunwa's back. Unwu finally calmed down. He grabbed a pillow from behind him and hugged it in his arms. He mumbled, "Grandpa, I can do all of that. I can do all of that. Do you understand?" Grandpa, don't say such things to me in the future. I'm a normal man. I can get angry and fight like Jiang Zhao. I'm a normal person. I'm not a patient. I'm not. Tears flowed down the boy's elegant and beautiful cheeks and fell on the pillow, creating a pool of wet stains. Unwoo, it's Grandpa's fault. Grandpa hurt you. If Grandpa didn't take that path in the past, our family wouldn't have encountered such a thing. Even if we didn't become rich, we would still be safe and sound. You wouldn't have suffered so much in the past 10 years. Unwoo. Shi Jintian wrapped his arms around Unwoo and comforted him. He always felt helpless whenever Unwoo was sad. He used to be a mafia figure who could cover the sky with one hand. After the Lei family was destroyed, he changed his name, but he still had power. Naturally, he had many servants. However, after Yunwoo's heart was changed, he didn't trust any of the servants. He had to do most of the chores himself. He was a burly man who could call the wind and summon the rain. He had to learn to be gentle, patient, and indifferent. He had to learn not to be rash or impatient. For someone who had worked in the underworld before, this was undoubtedly torture. However, for the sake of this young man, he persevered. Most of the time, he naturally felt that he was Elder Shi. He was used to it. He thought that Unwoo was used to it too. However, Unwoo cried and complained to him, "I'm a normal person. I'm not a patient, I'm not." He looked at his grandson crying in grief and indignation. He wished that he could shorten his lifespan and die earlier so that his grandson could live happily. Unwoo was a normal person. He could do many things. He could be more outstanding than many people. However, he couldn't snatch Jiang Zhao's woman. The Lei family was destroyed. The Jiang and Qin families' help couldn't be ignored. If the Jiang and Qin families hadn't helped cover it up and used their power to edit a large number of files and records, it had long been dug out by some of his enemies. He still remembered when old Jiang called him and asked, "What are your plans for the future?" At that time, he looked at little Unwoo on the bed and said to old Jiang, "I only want to have a place in the right path. Let me and my grandson live a peaceful life." Old Jiang asked, "Do you think it's reliable to change your name?" He said, "Change your surname to Shi. That's all I ask for." One shouldn't bite the hand that fed them. Even if the Shi family had a place in the right path, he shouldn't have hurt his old friend who took the risk to help him change his records. Which family's grandson wasn't the apple of their eye? Unwoo. Grandpa will take you out to have some fun. You'll be fine after a round. Unwoo closed his eyes and sighed. He couldn't understand the concept of friendship because he had no friends since he was young. He only knew that Sister Hua was good to him, so he had to be good to Sister Hua. Ah Gui was loyal to him, so he had to be good to Ah Gui. Yi Er had been good to him for so long. Since his grandpa refused to help him, he had no choice but to help himself. "Grandpa, I don't want to go out to have fun. After I recover, I want to go to work at the company. I'm already 20, and I only go to the company on Mondays and Fridays. I don't think that's right. After all, everything at Shi Empire needs to be managed by me. I think if I'm busy at work, I'll think less." "I'm glad you think that way." Unwoo couldn't see Shi Jintian's consolation and couldn't hear Shi Jintian's joy. He looked out the window, and his eyes were distant. His hands that gripped the pillow tightened into fists. He thought to himself, "Jiang Zhao, even though the sea is wide, you have to be careful, or else you'll hit a reef and capsize." Seeing Yunwoo's gaze drifting away, Shi Jintian felt something was off. He didn't dare say anything, but he was worried that he might hurt Yunwoo's pride. He thought about it and decided to strike from the side. In a serious tone, he said, "Unwoo, actually, we're indebted to the Jiang family and the Qin family. Without their help, we wouldn't have been able to leave Japan safely, and we wouldn't have been able to grow so smoothly. However, Elder Jiang and Elder Qin have never mentioned their kindness and help, and they are very careful with their words. They are afraid that I might feel indebted to them, so they purposely put me down." Unwoo. This kind of affection is not something that can be explained in a short period of time. Grandpa wants to force the brotherly love from the previous generation onto you. That's my fault. However, is the so-called love between a man and a woman really more important than everything around you? Unwoo kept looking out of the window. He watched as everything outside the window began to blur. When he heard Shi Jintian's last word, he called out softly, "Grandpa." It wasn't that he didn't hear it, but he listened very carefully. Anyone who had experienced the ups and downs of his life would understand the meaning behind it. He took a breath and slowly exhaled. "Let me be alone for a while." Unwoo put the pillow down, lay down, pulled the quilt over himself, and closed his eyes. "Let me be alone for a while." Shi Jintian nodded. "Okay, Grandpa will go out first." Prosecutor's office. Ouyang Yen was wearing a navy blue inspector's uniform with a small badge pinned on her chest. Her hair was tied up at the back of her neck, and she held a file in one hand in front of her chest. The sound of her black ordinary 5-centimeter high heels walking on the smooth and clean floor was fast and powerful. She walked forward with her head held high and her chest puffed out. She looked straight ahead and said to Zhu Yu, a female colleague beside her, "Since someone reported Yun Hongwei's case, it should be investigated. Moreover, it should be investigated deeply." Zhu Yu also quickly followed Ouyang Yen. "But Inspector O, this matter." Zhu Yu looked around and whispered, "Let's go to the office and talk about it." "Okay." Ouyang Yen was a rare beauty in the inspection department. When she was at work, even if her gaze was very firm and she talked about business with a very serious expression, her voice was still very gentle. It made people feel that she was a person who had never been angry. Naturally, she was very popular. After closing the office door, Zhu Yu sat opposite Ouyang Yen. "Inspector O, we can't touch this matter now." "Why can't we touch it?" "It's not that you don't know. Although the function of the inspection department is there, we are also restricted in many things." Ouyang Yen smiled. Her smile had always been warm and had the effect of calming and reassuring. "You mean that there is an authority involved now, right?" "Yes. And this case is not assigned to us. Why should we get involved in this muddy water?" Forget it. Don't tell anyone about this matter. I'll let you know later." Seeing Zhu Yu go out, Ouyang Yen stretched out her hand on the desk and leaned forward to pick up the phone. She tilted her head and put it on her shoulder. Her jade-like index finger poked the phone number dial key. His eyes darted around as if he was deep in thought. As he listened to the beeping sound from the phone, he tapped the table lightly with his hand. "Hello," the person on the other end said. Ouyang Yen said with a smile, "Director Shen, I'll treat you to lunch." Attention. Friendly reminder, another black-bellied man has appeared. "Oh, the sun has risen from the west. You're actually willing to treat me to lunch. It seems that you haven't released the grain this month, and you haven't released the bonus this year either." Ouyang Yen swiped the landline phone and dragged it in front of her. Then she sat on the chair and lay back. She stretched out her finger and twirled the phone line. She pretended to be angry and said, "Treating you to lunch, do I have to release the money after the work? You don't have to find such an excuse to refuse, do you? I can't ask for more. Where is it? You can book the place." The man on the other end of the phone teased, "I want to book a place to take a nap. Will you treat me?" "Sure, and I'll ask a beauty to massage you." "How about it? With you here, why should I ask for something far away? Why don't I trouble you?" Ouyang Yan's face turned cold, but she put on a smile in an instant. "Here we go again. Do you want to eat or not? I'll count to 3. If you don't agree, it will expire." See. You're so sincere. Let's meet at the Sea Moon restaurant. Welfare, Shinwu 799. Chapter 5:16. Shen Kai was Ouyang Yan's senior. They both majored in marine biology. He was now the head of the procuratorate. He pursued Ouyang Yen in university, but at that time, Jiang Zhao and Ouyang Yen had a good relationship. No one could get in between them, whether they coveted Jiang Zhao's sister or Ouyang Yan's brother. So at that time, there was a saying in Ocean University, childhood sweethearts are scourges, and the scourges are rooted in Ocean University. The boys thought that Jiang Zhao was a scourge, while the girls thought that Ouyang Yen was a scourge. They even started a war of words in the forum. What is Ouyang Yen? She pretends to be 13. Look at her, 13 is not enough. You men just like green tea bitches. Jiang Zhao is a scourge. Is he worthy of Ouyang Yen? Look at you women. Their brains are full of sh*t. Why would they fall for such a block of ice? These were considered light. The more serious ones were being attacked, splashed with leftovers, and splashed with ink and juice. These were considered high-level treatment. In the years since Ouyang Yen left High City, Shinkai would send her emails from time to ask about her recent situation. He didn't know that one day, this woman suddenly came to the inspection department and became his subordinate. The news that followed was that Jiang Zhao got married. The bride was not Ouyang Yen. This was good news. Flirting with Ouyang Yen every now and then was a compulsory lesson for Shinkai. If Ouyang Yen invited him to dinner, she must have something to ask him. He didn't believe that she would invite him to dinner because she missed him. Therefore, he deliberately dawdled and looked at his watch until Ouyang Yen called to rush him. Only then did he walk up the stairs leisurely. Pushing open the door of the private room, he saw Ouyang Yen taking off her uniform jacket and hanging it up. The uniform of the inspection department was ugly. It was very dark. The shirt inside was not stylish and the pants were also very old-fashioned. However, Ouyang Yen tucked the shirt into her pants and tightened the belt around her waist. The pants were probably trimmed and the size was just right. The curves were really good. It wasn't like some of her colleagues' pants, which didn't show her figure at all. Shinkai was serious at work, but he couldn't help making fun of Ouyang Yen when he saw her in private. She didn't like him anyway, so it was only fair for him to make fun of her. Otherwise, it would be a loss. Look, there's no place to take a nap here. You're starting to take off your clothes now. Look at you, you're always so careless with your words. I'm really sorry for your handsome face. Shinkai had already pulled out a chair and sat down beside Ouyang Yen. He picked up the white porcelain flat-bellied teapot on the table and poured himself a cup of tea. After taking a sip, he patted Ouyang Yan's leg and said, "Wow, you're praising me like this. Don't tell me you like me. But it's a little too late for you to take a fancy to me now. There are so many beauties in their 20s flirting with me all day long." Ouyang Yen pushed Shinkai's hand away in disgust and sat down opposite Shinkai. "Don't worry, the end of the world is fake. I won't really fall for you." AI. Why are you sighing? Isn't it exactly what you want? Shinkai said, "But haven't you heard of this before? Men are like this. They hope that every woman they like will love them to death. Even after they break up, they still want to love each other. This way, they will have a sense of accomplishment." Ah, you really know how to fantasize. When I meet a woman like you, how can I survive if I don't fantasize? Shinkai took the menu and flipped through it. He stopped joking and asked, "What made Inspector O willing to treat me to a meal?" Ouyang Yen was straightforward. "I want to take on Yun Hongwei's case." Reason? Shinkai looked serious again, but he was still looking at the menu. Ouyang Yen said, "He is almost out on parole for medical treatment. As far as I know, he has recovered from his injuries. Aside from the previous mayor's incident, is Yun Hongwei's business so clean? In 2003, didn't his food company also have a batch of problematic food? After this incident was resolved, did he really not use any underhanded methods? In 2004, High City's Bologna raw materials ran out, but he bought all the raw materials in advance and sold them to a mahogany factory at a high price. Is there any illegal transactions in between?" Shinkai's eyebrows were straight. making his handsome face look harmless and approachable. He had gained a lot of social advantages. At this moment, his eyebrows were furrowed. This tall man had long hands, and the service bell was in the middle of the big round table. He pressed it gently, and the waiter came in. Order. Yang Yen did not say anything and waited for Shinkai to order. The waiter was around, and it was hard to say anything. But Shinkai flipped the menu to the end and started reading again. While reading the menu, he asked the waiter, "Is the jellyfish salad sweet and sour? Or is it sesame oil and spices?" The waiter had informed the waiter about the identity of the guest when she came in. "So," she replied politely. "Chief Shen, it's sweet and sour." "Oh, forget it," the waiter immediately said. "You can make it into sesame oil and spices for Mr. Shen. I will inform the kitchen." "No need, I don't like jellyfish." The waiter was stunned and cursed in his heart. "If you don't like jellyfish, why did you ask?" Yang Yen glared at him and cursed in his heart. Shinkai continued flipping the menu. "How about the fresh oysters here?" The waiter said, "Mr. Shen, our fresh oysters are directly flown in from North America. They are all deep sea wild. Forget it, I don't like to eat raw things." The waiter immediately said, "Mr. Shen, our oysters can also be baked and grilled. They are equally delicious." Shinkai shook his head regretfully. "No need, I don't like to eat oysters." The waiter and Yang Yen were petrified. "Oh right, I know that your sea cucumber is good. I heard that the soup has been left for a long time." Shinkai closed the menu and tilted his head to look at the waiter standing beside him. The waiter thought, this business is not going to fail, right? There was hope this time. "Yes, Mr. Shen. Our sea cucumber is the most famous in High City. The chef's soup uses more than 70 secret ingredients, and it has to be left for 3 days, forget it. Didn't they say that it's not good to drink water that has been boiled for a long time? Besides, the soup is still the same. Scallops, old chicken, bones, and some other things. More than 70 kinds of ingredients? Why don't you say 700 kinds?" The waiter already wanted to hold the table, but the restaurant's rules forbade the waiter from touching the table. They couldn't appear lazy, but she really wanted to give the head of the procuratorate a hammer. Don't think that she couldn't do it just because he was good-looking. She relied on commission to make a living. Was it easy for a worker like her who relied on part-time jobs to earn some extra money? Unless he was willing to be her boyfriend, she wouldn't care about the commission. All right, don't think too far ahead. The most important thing was to attract business. When doing business, one had to welcome customers from all directions, including those who were picky. The waiter flashed 8 teeth. "Mr. Shen, it's impossible to have 700 kinds of ingredients. The pot isn't that big, but I definitely can't get the recipe. After all, this involves intellectual property. These 70 kinds of ingredients should be our master's secret ancestral recipe. Speaking of which, it's really mysterious." Shinkai could tell that the little girl seemed to be somewhat dissatisfied with him. Her tone sounded a little disdainful and a little aggressive, so he made a sound of surprise. When did you hire a little sister with such a big mouth?" The waiter chuckled. "It means that our restaurant is constantly updating and striving for the best. In the food and beverage business, one must have a good mouth. One must know how to speak and taste the dishes. Otherwise, how can one provide service and food and beverage?" Shinkai asked with interest, "What's your name?" "Xia Qian." Shinkai repeated as if he didn't hear her clearly. "Cheap." The corner of Xia Qian's mouth twitched. "Oh, Mr. Shen, it's like this. The xia in summer means the xia in the previous season. The qian in qian means 3 drops of water. The cheap means a shell. Understand?" Shinkai laughed. "Oh, you can speak English?" Mr. Shen, I was afraid that you didn't understand Mandarin, so I added a sentence. Are we going to communicate in the language of the little foreign devils?" Ha, I support our country, I support our country. Mr. Shen is really patriotic. You don't even worship foreign languages. You're not like those foreigners on TV nowadays. They have to insert a few English letters into a sentence in Chinese to show that they've studied for a few days. She's not afraid that the old lady in front of the TV won't understand. Shinkai felt that something was wrong when he heard this. He frowned and asked, "Didn't you just insert a few English letters into your sentence?" Xia Qian scratched her head. I'll be more careful next time. The next time I meet you, Mr. Shen, I'll definitely not use a single letter in my sentence. Are you talking about me as an old lady? Haha. Xia Qian thought for a while. Not all good-looking people were useless. They were quite smart. It was just that they pretended not to understand what they were supposed to understand, and insisted on understanding what they were not supposed to understand. No, didn't you understand? The one who doesn't understand is an old lady. Oh, then were you mocking me or yourself? No, I just said it casually. I didn't think too much. Xia Qian thought about it and decided not to argue anymore. The customer was God. Holding the ordering device in her hand, she looked at the unhappy Ouyang Yan and smiled at Shinkai. Mr. Shen, our two-headed abalone here is from Australia, oh. Shinkai suddenly remembered something and threw the closed menu on the table. Give me 2 servings of egg fried rice, a salad of shredded kelp, and a loofah soup. That's all. Xia Qian was stunned for 2 seconds. She cursed in her heart, damn it. You've tortured me for so long and you still have the nerve to order such dishes? You still have the nerve to be a civil servant? You bastards. Do you want to give me a tip for ordering such lousy dishes? Master. Xia Qian wanted to wait for the lady's reaction. She wanted to make a face, but the woman smiled gently. Mr. Shen really knows how to save money for me. Comrades in the inspection department should be diligent and thrifty. They should do their part to purify society, the man said righteously. Xia Qian nodded politely at Shinkai with a smile. The dishes will be served in a moment. Please wait a moment. After going out and closing the door, Xia Qian continued to curse in her heart, so you can't do business when a woman is treating you. Women are all stingy and petty. You even let a man stand up and refuse to order good dishes. How insidious. Purify society? You want to purify society and come to Highway restaurant to eat egg fried rice? You've purified society too thoroughly. My brain is about to short-circuit. You're blocking my path to wealth. You're really a jerk, a jerk. She curled her lips and cursed in her heart. Is it easy to earn some money? Is it easy? I've worked so hard for half a day. My mouth is dry from talking and I only managed to sell a serving of egg fried rice. I can't live like this. She stomped her foot as she thought about it. Watching the waiter leave, Ouyang Yan said, You ordered such dishes because you're afraid that you'll be short-sighted? Shinkai smiled. Inspector O is really understanding. You're indeed the most popular inspector. Do you have to? Welfare, Xinwu 799. Chapter 517. That's right. Now that you're thinking of ways to send Yun Hongwei back, what benefits can I get? The eldest daughter of the Yun family had a falling out with Jiang Zhao because of this matter. I just happened to be helping them out and doing you a favor. Shinkai simply leaned back in his chair and crossed his arms. Hey, Ouyang Yan, although I'm an honest person, that doesn't mean I'm stupid. I'm not stupid. Why should I do such a thankless thing? Ouyang Yan's mouth stiffened. What benefits do you want? Shinkai shrugged lightly. You think I'm stupid, but that doesn't mean you're stupid. You're very smart. You know very well what benefits I want. Even if I want this benefit, you won't give it to me. Why say it out loud and hurt your colleagues' feelings? Ouyang Yan realized that the men around him were all old and cunning. The things they had when they were young were all gone. Each one was more calculating and more realistic than the other. You're so direct. Shinkai laughed out loud. Do you like tactful ones? But didn't I get rejected by you in the past? It's just that I can't get it, so why should I be stubborn? Am I right? Yang Yen said, now I realize that what you said is quite right. What is it? Men hope that the woman they liked will always love them to death, even if they break up. Women are also so vain. They hope that the man who liked them will never change his mind, even if they don't love him. Shinkai shook his head and said slowly, fairy tales are only suitable for a certain age. We remember all the fairy tales we read when we were young, but now, if we think about those stories again, we'll only smile. Those books will be treasured and placed on the bookshelves, but at our age, it's impossible for us to open them again and read them carefully and with relish like when we were young. The books we like at this age are inclined towards philosophical thoughts, social life, economic development, and self-cultivation, but they will never be inclined towards fairy tales. Yang Yan's face stiffened. She felt that Shinkai's words were like ice being scooped up from the river in the dead of winter and smashed into the depths of her blood vessels. Her whole body was frozen stiff. What was she? The fairy tale in Jiang Zhao's heart? I can't go back anymore. She didn't believe it. Shinkai's lips parted as though he had seen through her. Yun, you've really missed out on Jiang Zhao. He's in the same batch as me. If you had been with another guy back then and I felt that you had rejected me, I would have pursued him. But with Jiang Zhao, there's no need to fight over him. He's too stubborn. At that time, you had your eyes set on him. None of us would have had a chance. You dumped him in front of everyone in Ocean University. Everyone in Ocean University knows that you two have a good relationship. If it were someone else, wouldn't they curse 8 generations of your ancestors to death or find someone to pour acid on you? Do you think you can dump a man like him? I'm also in the circle of government agencies, and he hasn't messed up because of you in the past few years. His self-control. Although he used to be my rival in love, there's one thing I have to admit. No matter what, he's a good man in the eyes of women like you. It's just that he has a family now. Based on his personality, whatever you do will be futile. And Yun, there are some things that don't go too far. Our circle also has its unspoken rules. Do you think you can fight against Jiang Zhao? Do you think family Ouyang can fight against the Qin family? Even if family Ouyang is great, they can defeat the Qin family and take the #1 position in Shanghai. Can the family Ouyang afford to offend the Jiang family in the east? Yang Yen was trembling with anger because Shinkai completely disregarded their previous relationship and threw her unbearable and bloody situation in front of her. Her self-esteem and image were trampled to pieces just like that. She was a proud Yang Yen. In front of a man who liked her and pursued her, she was ashamed. If you don't want to help me, then so be it. What's the big deal? If you don't let me get involved, can't I do it myself? Shinkai suddenly changed his calm and good-tempered appearance. His handsome face had a pair of bright eyes. He raised his voice and snorted. He said angrily, Yang Yen. I'm talking to you nicely now. Don't get into trouble and let your father clean up your mess for you. What are you trying to prove? To prove how much you love Jiang Zhao. You love him, but you didn't know how to cherish him back then. Now that he's someone else's husband, you're not convinced. Why are you not convinced? Not all the women in the world are dead. That's why Jiang Zhao found Yun Yi. Are all the men in the world dead? Do you have to hang yourself on that tree? Can't you put away your self-righteous pride and start afresh? If Jiang Zhao doesn't have feelings for Yun Yi, it's fine. But Yang Yen, if he has feelings for Yun Yi, you're not playing with fire. You're playing with your life. You should know him well. Shinkai. Yang Yen was trembling with anger. She slammed the table and stood up unsteadily. Don't go too far. I'm going too far? Shinkai smiled. Yang Yen, I'm not the kind of fool who likes a woman. I know she doesn't like me, but I'm still trying to help her find true love. I'm not Jesus. So, don't think I'm going too far. Ouyang Yen took a deep breath. Jiang Zhao didn't care about their old relationship. Even this pursuer who had been in contact with her for the past few years didn't care about their old relationship. Men were indeed fickle. Shinkai slowly sipped his tea. Ouyang Yen, if you want to talk about conditions, then act as if you want to talk about conditions. But let me tell you, to me, you are not so attractive that I would give up my career to shed my blood for you. After all, I am already past that impulsive age. Who told you not to pursue me earlier? You're so self-righteous. Ouyang Yen said disdainfully. Shinkai rubbed his face impatiently. Hearing Ouyang Yen say that, he didn't feel comfortable. But his attitude was there. Whether he was self-righteous or thinking too much, he didn't want to suffer any losses. Xia Qian led the waiter into the private room and placed the dishes one by one on the table. She said with a smile, all the dishes have been served. Please enjoy. She thought to herself, stingy. You only ordered 2 small dishes on such a big table. You 2 stingy people will stuff themselves to death. Shinkai took a thick Korean steel spoon and scooped up a spoonful of egg fried rice. Your service here is pretty good. I'm not dissatisfied with the egg fried rice. Xia Qian served the dishes. She crossed her hands on her stomach and stood in a standard posture. Mr. Shen, what are you saying? The customer is God. You can't measure the customer's status by the dishes they order. She thought to herself, it's bad enough that you ordered such lousy dishes, but you still said such immoral words. Do you know how hurtful your words are? Stingy. By the time Xia Qian finished speaking, Shinkai had already swallowed a mouthful of egg fried rice. He nodded repeatedly to express his approval. That's good. In the future, I'll come here at noon to order egg fried rice, shredded kelp, or tomato and egg soup for my work meal. These dishes are very affordable here. Xia Qian still maintained her smile. Every returning customer is our Ocean Moon restaurant's honor. What's more, a regular customer like Mr. Shen even ordered a lunch here. Ocean Moon restaurant is very surprised. Shinkai put down his spoon. He didn't look at Ouyang Yen, who couldn't eat a single mouthful of rice. He tilted his head and asked Xia Qian, little sister, you really know how to talk. How long have you been working here? A month. I've never seen you. I'm in the middle class because my classes are basically in the afternoon this semester. Oh, school? Yes, a part-time job. Ocean Moon Restaurant is actually recruiting temporary workers? Shinkai frowned. Xia Qian said confidently, it's a big company that doesn't stick to one type of talent. The manager thinks that it's not easy to find a high-quality waiter like me. Even if I'm only in the middle class, she still wants me. Are you sure your surname is Xia and not Wang? Xia Qian studied media, so her brain reacted quickly. She immediately understood that Shinkai was deliberately mocking her as Old Lady Wang. In the service industry, one had to endure all kinds of customers unless one had no backing and couldn't bear it anymore. Only then would one go to the manager. Of course, if one had a backing, one had to endure it even if one couldn't bear it anymore. This was because it was useless to go to the manager. The manager would rather fire you than cause trouble for the restaurant. Xia Qian's lips curved. I don't think I'm that old, so my surname is just right. When I'm 60, I'll change my surname to Wang. That's more appropriate. Huh, interesting, interesting. After Xia Qian left, Ouyang Yen was still so angry that she refused to eat. Shinkai held a spoon and said to her, if you bring up Yun Hongwei's case in 2003, you'll be causing trouble for yourself. This industry isn't small, but it's not big either. You can't dig too deep into it. Once you do, the roots will be intertwined and the vines will be intertwined. If you want to dig deeper, you'll have to cut off the roots above. But the roots above are the roots of other trees. Is this something you can just cut off? The person who helped him get rid of the media was the director of the provincial TV station. Now he's been promoted, but this person was able to become the director because of your father's support. Yang Yen felt a chill in the soles of her feet. It kept drilling into the crevices of her bones, and it was getting higher and higher. Her knees were so cold that she couldn't move them. She reached out and rubbed them. Shinkai slowly took another bite and drank some soup. Seeing that Yang Yen didn't dare to make a sound and had no more food in her mouth, he continued, when the news of the 2004 tsunami came out, he immediately saw that the price of pineapple was going to rise, so he bought almost all of the pineapple in Haicheng. After that, he sold it to a mahogany furniture manufacturer at a high price. He was indeed very business-minded. Not only did he take out all his living expenses, he even went to the bank to borrow a huge sum of money. Do you know who approved this huge sum of money? Yang Yen trembled. Her voice was very soft. Who? Who do you think it could be? It has nothing to do with my uncle. Yang Yan's intuition told her that Shinkai was definitely going to say that it was someone from the family Yang. She didn't believe him. Shinkai smiled faintly and said with a hint of provocation, "Your uncle approved it." When your uncle approved this sum of money, didn't he have any tricks up his sleeves? After all, that sum of money came so quickly. Others might not know about the unspoken rules of this circle, but how can we not know? Your uncle is now in the headquarters. Once this matter is dug out, will it really benefit you? Yun, don't put on a righteous face to bring someone to justice. Let me tell you, people like you, me, and Jiang Zhao were thrown onto this path. To put it bluntly, we were thrown onto this path to serve our family Yang. Although it's not right for me to say this, you know best that your father pushed you onto this path to make things easier for the family Yang, not to cause trouble for them. If your father really wanted you to woo you's carefree life for the rest of your life, he would have let you be a teacher and not come to the procuratorate. The procuratorate isn't a government office with a lot of money. You know that very well. Welfare, Songshu 566. Chapter 518. Every son and daughter of a prestigious family in Sea City should not be calculative about their own gains and losses. They should place themselves on the chessboard that is most beneficial to their family and be a good chess piece until they walk out of the chessboard. This is your mission, don't forget it. Shinkai smiled gently. In Yang Yan's eyes, this man was so numb that it was scary. His words and thoughts made it impossible for anyone to have any fantasies about this man. Although he was good-looking and tall, such a realist man was too scary. Yang Yen was unwilling to give up. Her purpose in coming here was just to give a simple explanation, but in the end, she was blocked by Shinkai to the point that she couldn't discuss in depth how to solve the case. He even strangled her ideas and didn't give her any chance to make a comeback. Chess piece? She never thought that she would be in such a situation. A chess piece of her family? She was a proud Yang Yen. She felt that she could choose her life. In fact, as Shinkai said, she could not choose her life. She had no choice. As far as Shinkai was concerned, the reason why he said all this to Yang Yen was because he liked her. If it was someone else, he wouldn't even bother to say anything. If you want to provoke others, if you want to stir up trouble, that's your business. It has nothing to do with me. But outside, he would have the image of upholding justice. Yang Yen was too involved in this. It was not good. He was really worried that one day, she would cause trouble and he would not have the heart to save her. In order to take precautions, it was better to remind her earlier. Jiang Zhao was angry with Yi Er before. Yi Er directly categorized Jiang Zhao as a petty man in her heart. People said that only a man with a big heart could achieve hegemony. Logically speaking, a man like Jiang Zhao was definitely young and promising. In the past, he was also a big shot with a high position and a generous salary. But behind closed doors, his annoying temper was really unbearable. She did not know if it was because of the change in her feelings that she had higher expectations of him, or if it was because he was a petty person by nature. People said that a flash marriage sounded romantic but was not reliable. The main reason was that when two people really got along, the other party's bad habits would always be exposed. Until both parties could not take it anymore and divorce in the end. Of course, there were also those who were very happy. Yi Er's tolerance had been honed over the past 2 years. She felt that Jiang Zhao had picked up a great bargain. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to find such a good wife even if he had transmigrated to a primitive society. What do you want to eat for lunch? Jiang Zhao ignored Yi Er and glanced at her. He turned over and read the newspaper on his side. Huh? What kind of name is that? She didn't even bother to call him hubby. Yi Er walked around to the opposite side of the building and stood in front of Jiang Zhao. What do you want to eat for lunch? It's already past mealtime. Do you have to be like this? Are you not hungry? Jiang Zhao turned over again and flipped through the newspaper. However, the man's expression was relaxed and he didn't seem irritated at all. Yi Er raised her head and silently swore in her heart, Jiang Zhao, you ungrateful thing. Just you wait. When I become the owner one day, you'll be in trouble. Yi Er started to walk around the building again. When she saw Jiang Zhao flipping through the newspaper, she reached out and tore the newspaper from his hand. She pinched it in her hand. Her eyes were still burning, but there was a sly smile on her lips. When you were young, did your teacher teach you that you shouldn't read while lying down? I'm reading the newspaper. Yi Er thought to herself. This was the last time. If he didn't want to eat, then forget it. You're just going to read the newspaper and not eat, right? I'm not hungry. Give me back the newspaper. Jiang Zhao snorted. He was a patient. How could she dare to deprive him of food and drink? She had to beg him to eat. She had to beg him to eat. Yi Er's expression suddenly brightened. She bent over and gently stroked Jiang Zhao's hand with her empty hand. Her eyes curved into crescents and she looked so sweet. Jiang Zhao was so excited that the wolf claw in his heart kept scratching at the walls of his heart. You know that hard methods are useless, so you're using soft methods? Come on, wifey. I love soft methods the most. Soft words, soft lips, soft body. Just thinking about it makes my heart swell. The smile on Yi Er's face became even gentler. Jiang Zhao was about to melt. He couldn't help but smile. Who knew that another hand would send a newspaper to him? The woman's voice was soft, but she didn't send him soft lips or send him angry words. Sir, I know that you're busy with official business and have no time to spare. It's the country's fortune and the people's fortune to have a public servant like you. I don't know much, but I know that women don't get involved in politics. Sir, you're so busy with the country's affairs that you don't even have time to eat lunch. I thank you on behalf of the people. It's because of you that our country is strong and prosperous. I'm going to eat first. I can't fall down. I need to have enough energy to send the newspaper to my husband and effect Sir's official business. Yi Er firmly stuffed the newspaper into the gloomy hands of Jiang Zhao. She lowered her head and took 2 steps back. She folded her hands by her side, bowed, and said in a low voice, I'll take my leave. She maintained her posture and took a few steps back with her head bowed. Then she turned around and swaggered out of the door. Yi Er didn't go to the hospital's cafeteria to get food. Instead, she drove to a Cantonese restaurant to order takeout. When she returned to the hospital, Yi Er asked the nurse to move a small table to the entrance. Then she opened the takeout one by one. The aroma filled the room. The dishes that Yi Er ordered weren't spicy. They were all Jiang Zhao's favorites. Wow, the core of this oyster sauce vegetable is so tender. The core is so fresh. The stock is so tender and refreshing. Wow, the goose feet are so good. They're so soft and fragrant. How come I didn't realize that the winter bamboo shoots, pig stomach, and sea cucumber soup in Cantonese hui hui is so fresh? Jiang Zhao sat up from the bed with a whoosh and threw the newspaper on the bed. Yun Yi. Don't you know that we shouldn't talk when we eat? Shut up. Yi Er drank the soup very loudly. She made it sound like she was drinking soup from a century-old pot. Sir, please handle your official business properly, Jiang Zhao thought to himself. What kind of sin did I commit? He didn't believe that he would be forced to step down by a little wench. He laid his head down and tried to sleep. However, he couldn't fall asleep. It was already 3 o'clock. He was already hungry. After being angered by that woman, he became even hungrier. His stomach was full of air. When he exhaled, he felt as if his chest was pressed against his back. Especially when the room was filled with the aroma of food. Coupled with that woman's explanation, he couldn't bear it anymore. Bring it to me. Jiang Zhao sat up and propped the pillow on his back. He leaned against the bed like a master. He pulled out the simple folding buffet table by the bed and placed it in front of him. He knocked on the table and said generously, I've finished my official business. Let's eat. Yi Er took the takeout boxes one by one and placed them on the small dining table for Uncle Jiang Zhao. As long as Jiang Zhao was willing to eat, she didn't care if she had to suck up to him. She took off her shoes and sat on the bed, ready to eat with Jiang Zhao. Jiang Zhao looked up and glared at her. Don't you know the rules? When your master is eating, you can only watch. You can only eat when your master is done. Yi Er knew that Jiang Zhao was seeking revenge, so she went along with it. In any case, she had just eaten a little and wasn't hungry anymore. She just went along with what he wanted. She blinked her watery eyes pitifully, like a pitiful puppy wagging its tail. She shrunk her neck and curled her body. She knelt on the bed and retreated until she reached the end of the bed. She said in a childish voice, "My lord, this concubine knows her mistake. I won't do it again." Jiang Zhao was in a good mood. He picked up the spoon and drank a mouthful of soup. He nodded and shook his neck. It was really good. He beckoned Yi Er over. Come here. I'll give you a mouthful of soup. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a joke if people said that I, the magistrate of Haiqing Prefecture, didn't even give my wife a mouthful of soup? Haha. Yi Er knew that Jiang Zhao was like this. She just had to obey him a little. She crawled over again. Thank you, master. Open your mouth. Yi Er Gigai opened her mouth. Stretch your neck over. Yi Er Gigai stretched her neck over. Jiang Zhao scooped up a spoonful of soup and smiled at Yi Er. Little pug. If he went on a business trip in the future, he had to raise a little pug to bring along with him. No, how could that be the same? Even if he went on a business trip, he had to bring her along. Haha. Yi Er was still waiting for the master to give her a mouthful of soup. She didn't expect the master to pour the entire spoonful of soup into her mouth. She didn't expect him to trick her at this critical juncture. Forget it, he was injured. He was the master. Just as she was about to retract her neck, her entire chin was firmly held by the master. The man's mouth pressed down on hers and poured the entire spoonful of soup into her mouth. Yi Er's eyes widened. Your sister. Did you *King brush your teeth before eating? Jiang Zhao put down the spoonful of soup and pinched Yi Er's lips with both hands. He said, swallow it. Swallow it. I dare you to spit it out. Yi Er shook her head and refused. She couldn't take it anymore. A kiss was a kiss, all right? How dare he pour the soup in his mouth into her mouth? This was different from kissing, all right? It wasn't the same, all right? Jiang Zhao panicked. This woman actually despised him. She dared to despise him. He was going to teach her a lesson. She was still so young and she was already despising him. In another 10 or 20 years, how much more would she despise him? Forced by Jiang Zhao's strength and tyrannical gaze, Yi Er finally gave in. She held back her disgust and swallowed it down. She wanted to quickly drink another spoonful of soup to ease her disgust. Jiang Zhao saw through her thoughts and immediately grabbed her hand. He said seriously, "Yi Er, I've seen through you today. I'm just suffering from some external injuries. I just let you eat something from my mouth and you're already so disgusted. If I catch a cold, will you be afraid of being infected and hide thousands of miles away?" "Hey, I didn't mean that." "You didn't? Look at you. You're about to vomit and you're still saying that you didn't." Jiang Zhao's face turned red. It was too embarrassing to argue with his wife about this. Whose wife was like this? Yi Er felt that her husband had always been a piece of iron. Although he was more childish than before when they were alone, the nature of a piece of iron would never change. She would be at a disadvantage if she went against an iron plate. This was an experience and also a lesson. All right. I already said that I didn't. It's just that I can't accept it all of a sudden. If I were like this, would you be able to take it? Don't you know that you shouldn't impose on others what you don't want to be done to you? Jiang Zhao was in a bad mood. Yo, you also know that you shouldn't impose on others what you don't want to be done to you? An uncultured person isn't that scary, right? Please, although I didn't go to university, I went to elementary school, middle school, and high school, right? I know basic Chinese, right? Unlike you, who only knows the 3 representatives, the 3rd plenary session, the National People's Congress, and come and see, Songshu 566. Chapter 519. Jiang Zhao laughed heartily. Yes, I know that. But do you know what it means? Yi Er stammered, "It's okay if I don't know. I still know a little about the country's policies." "What policies do you know about the country's policies?" Forget it. I don't want to argue with you anymore." "Alright, you're the one who doesn't want to argue about this issue." Jiang Zhao held the spoon in his hand. "Then let's continue talking about the issue of not doing to others what you don't want to be done to you." "Jiang Zhao, are you done yet? You're a man. Why are you being so calculative? I just felt a little disgusted eating the soup in your mouth. This is a normal reaction. How do you expect me to pretend?" Jiang Zhao couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with Yi Er. He picked up the spoon and scooped up a spoonful of soup. His other hand grabbed Yi Er's chin and pinched her mouth open. He blew on the soup in the spoon and poured it directly into Yi Er's open mouth. He pressed his own mouth against hers and swirled his tongue around. After letting go of Yi Er, he continued to eat leisurely. He didn't feel any discomfort. Jiang Zhao responded to Yi Er's disgusted reaction with a contemptuous attitude. Yi Er knew that she was in the wrong. She looked at Jiang Zhao and said fawningly, "Your Excellency, no matter how you want to punish me, I won't dare to have any resentment." "All right, you said it." Yi Er nodded furiously. At worst, Jiang Zhao could punish her. She wasn't afraid. At worst, he could do it a few more times and tire her out a little. Yes. Your Excellency has the final say." Jiang Zhao looked at the sea cucumber, pork tripe, and vegetable cores in the soup. He then looked at Yi Er and slowly smiled. His smile grew wider and wider and his laughter became more and more unbridled. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao's laughter and felt her hair stand on end. Can you imagine what it would be like if you said, "Your Excellency has the final say," to a big shot that you had just offended, but that big shot didn't say anything and just laughed unbridled? What would you think? The most direct thought would be that he wanted to kill you. "Hey, Jiang Zhao." Jiang Zhao laughed until he was out of breath. "What are you laughing at?" Yi Er asked timidly. Jiang Zhao covered his face with both hands and pushed it up until his hairline. He then pressed it down along the top of his head and stretched lazily. With a naughty smile, he said, "Aren't you disgusted by the soup I fed you?" Yi Er was kneeling on the bed. When she heard what Jiang Zhao said, she immediately put her hands on the bed and moved back to the end of the bed. She waved her hands frantically and said, "No, no, I was wrong. I deeply realized my mistake just now. Really, really. I swear." Yi Er didn't know how Jiang Zhao wanted to punish her, but she knew it wouldn't be a good thing if he told her directly. Yi Er sat up straight and said in a dignified manner, "Dear, before we got married, I told you that even if we can't help each other in need, we can still treat each other with respect. In fact, I think we can be considered as helping each other in need now. Look, we kissed. I drank the soup in your mouth and you drank the soup in my mouth. Isn't that the best way to explain how we helped each other in need?" Jiang Zhao nodded as if he understood. Yi Er suppressed her heart, which was about to jump out of her chest. She continued to persuade him, "Dear, the two of us are so happy. Look, the two of us who helped each other in need died in the end. The two of us have meat to eat and soup to drink. How happy is that, right?" "Yes, yes, yes." Jiang Zhao agreed with a smile. Yi Er panicked even more. What was he trying to do? Jiang Zhao said, "The first time we helped each other in need, we didn't do it well enough. Since you already understand the meaning of helping each other in need, then let's show you a deeper level of helping each other in need. I think after this, you won't be able to throw up even if you want to." Yi Er's brain exploded with a dull thud. She couldn't throw up even if she wanted to. What was this? Jiang Zhao picked up his chopsticks and pointed at the dishes on the table. "Let's eat a nutritious combination of meat and vegetables. I'll pick up the sea cucumber, pig stomach, and diced bamboo shoots and stuff them into my mouth. I'll chew them until they're soft and then feed them to you, okay?" As soon as Jiang Zhao finished speaking, Yi Er immediately covered her mouth. She was about to throw up. No, she couldn't stay here any longer. If she stayed any longer, she would be played to death by this asterisk asterisk asterisk. When Jiang Zhao saw that Yi Er was about to run away, he immediately jumped off the bed and caught her just as Yi Er jumped off the bed. Yi Er was pressed against the wall. She knew that even if she didn't die today, she would be crippled. She curled her lips and reached out to pinch the hem of Jiang Zhao's shirt. She shook it slightly. "Dear, dear, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Dear, I'm still young. I can be forgiven for being immature. Don't lower yourself to my level, okay? Hubby." Yi Er softly called out to her husband. Jiang Zhao pressed Yi Er against the wall. The smile on his face relaxed. He carelessly combed Yi Er's hair and said in a serious tone, "Dear, being young is not an excuse for making mistakes. It's also not a reason. A married woman follows her husband. As your guardian and husband, I have the responsibility and obligation to educate you on your mistakes. Dear, you have a lot of vague and even confusing concepts about life. But it doesn't matter. We can find the right direction through our mistakes. We can also find the right way through our mistakes. So, it's okay to be wrong once, but we can't make the same mistake again." Yi Er nodded, nodded, and nodded again. She almost kowtowed again. "Dear, you're right. You're indeed a great thinker, a revolutionary, and an artist. Dear, look at you. Your old habits are acting up again. You need to be honest with your comments. If you go overboard, you're exaggerating. As an artist, I will at most study your body art. So, I don't deserve the honor of being an artist." Yi Er gritted her teeth. "Damn it. What do you not deserve?" Yes, yes, yes. I went overboard. I'm sorry, dear. It's okay. Let's get back to the topic. We were talking about the problem you made today. In order to deepen our relationship, we need to help each other today. For our future husband and wife life to be more harmonious and harmonious, both of us need to work harder. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er, who was about to cry. He clenched his fist at her and said gently, "Dear, you can do it." Yi Er was really about to cry. She felt that she had never been so disgusted when she didn't have any teeth. When she was young, her father must have bought her baby rice paste to eat. It must have been. There was no doubt about it. Jiang Zhao actually wanted to chew all the vegetables and meat for her to eat. Did he want her to stop eating from now on? Didn't she just feel a little nauseous when she drank the soup? But didn't she still swallow it? Jiang Zhao, although I felt a little nauseous during the process, I still swallowed it all in the end. Isn't that right? I didn't really vomit and the process didn't matter. Wasn't your goal just to make me drink the soup in your mouth? It's already in my stomach. Yi Er patted her stomach to show that the real thing was inside. Jiang Zhao shook his head and mimicked Yi Er's pitiful look. Oh, but my goal wasn't to make you drink it. I wanted you to stop feeling nauseous. Yi Er wanted to kill someone. Can't I just drink it if I don't feel like vomiting? It doesn't matter if you drink it or not. The result I want is that you don't feel like vomiting. Jiang Zhao, you're crazy. If I don't drink it, am I supposed to keep it in my mouth forever? You can do that too. Jiang Zhao said proudly. Yi Er looked up and shouted, ah. But, I can't live like this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. What bullsh** t about helping each other in times of need. But, you big ***, you can help whoever you want. Today, I'll move out with Dad and little brother. We'll live in a small house. I don't want to live like this anymore. Jiang Zhao was stunned. The door opened with a click and a bang was heard. It was the sound of a magnet being hit. Yun Hongwei ran into the room with Si Jia in his arms. Yi Er was so scared that he didn't dare to make a sound. He saw that his father's eyes were bloodshot. Si Jia also clenched his little fists and looked like he wanted to eat Jiang Zhao. His entire jaw was grinding. It was as if a magical beast was going to burst out of his little body in the next second. Jiang Zhao didn't know that it would be so early today. Si Jia should have arrived at 5 a.m., but it was only 3 a.m. Yesterday, he had promised his father-in-law that he would treat Yi Er well. Now, Yi Er was saying that he didn't want to live like this anymore. Jiang Zhao looked at his father-in-law and brother-in-law's expressions. His head was about to explode. It was really about to explode. Yi Er immediately started crying. He looked at Yun Hongwei and cried, Dad, you have to be the judge. Sob sob sob. Jiang Zhao was very flustered. He hurriedly hugged Yi Er. Yi Er, be good. Yi Er, don't make a fuss. Let's not make a fuss, okay? Huh? Yi Er pushed Jiang Zhao away and ran into Yun Hongwei's arms. Si Jia ran over and hugged Jiang Zhao, then started punching him fiercely with his little fists. Who told you to bully Yun Yi? Who told you to bully Yun Yi? Jiang Zhao didn't fight back at all. Even if a child hit him, it wouldn't hurt. His muscles were tense as he looked at Yun Hongwei, who was still glaring at him. Dad, we were just playing around. Yi hugged Yun Hongwei and said, Daddy, it's not a joke. He won't let me eat sea cucumbers. Daddy, why is he like this? I just want to eat some sea cucumbers, but he said that the doctor said that I shouldn't eat seafood in my medicine, so he won't let me eat it. It's been 3 hours since I took the medicine at noon, but he still won't let me eat it. He's the only one who's allowed to eat it. Daddy, you can't bully me like this. Daddy used to give me whatever I wanted to eat in the past. Yun Hongwei was stunned. Si Jia immediately stopped, turned around, and walked to Yi Er's side. He pulled her out of Yun Hongwei's arms and asked with a sullen face, Yun Yi, you're really embarrassing yourself. Aren't you ashamed of your surname? When Yun Hongwei looked at Jiang Zhao, he was a little embarrassed. Jiang Zhao, I'm sorry. I misunderstood just now. He turned around and started to educate Yi Er. The seemingly gentle middle-aged man was very imposing when he scolded her. How old are you? You're going to be 20 years old soon. You've been married for so long, but you're still like a child. How can you educate your younger brother like this? Si Jia said disdainfully, I don't want her to teach me. How can she teach me? I should be the one teaching her. Even if she can't eat sea cucumbers, she can still cause a ruckus at home. No one can do it better than her. Jiang Zhao exhaled steadily and walked over. He pulled Yi Er into his arms and rubbed her shoulders. When he saw that she was really crying, he pinched his shirt sleeve and wiped her tears. Yi Er, don't cry. Tomorrow, we'll eat sea cucumbers. Tomorrow, I'll be discharged from the hospital and take you to eat sea cucumbers, okay? How about tonight? Tonight, we'll be discharged from the hospital and go eat sea cucumbers. We'll eat the best sea cucumbers in Haicheng, okay? Si Jia sighed and raised his head to look at his father. He glanced at Yi Er in disdain, then shrugged and pursed his lips. Look at your good daughter. Aren't you going to discipline her? Add. Hongcha 866. Chapter 520. Yun Hongwei didn't think it would be easy to discipline her. He couldn't possibly pull his daughter out of her husband's arms and educate her, right? He pulled Si Jia outside. Si Jia, I want to talk to you about what your form teacher said today. What did she mean by saying mean things to a female classmate? No way. She insisted that she liked me. I'm still young and can't fall in love. A man has to focus on his career. Oh, you can't say mean things to her. A man has to be manly. You are a gentleman. I'm starting to be a gentleman, but she keeps pestering me. If I don't be rude, she will think that I'm rejecting her. When he heard the sound of the door closing and the conversation between the adult and the child getting further and further away, Jiang Zhao carried Yi Er up and sat beside the bed. Hugging the woman in his arms, he said, Honey, thank you for not letting Daddy scold me. I'm just afraid that Dad will be sad. Yi Er was really afraid that her father would think that she was always bullied by Jiang Zhao. She knew that she had been the apple of her father's eye since she was young. If someone bullied Si Jia, she would be furious. She could completely understand her father's and Si Jia's reactions just now. Fortunately, she was one step ahead. Otherwise, who knew what her father would have picked up to hit Jiang Zhao? Yes, it's my fault. Let's go eat sea cucumber tonight, okay? I'm just saying. You don't like it? It's just a so-so. Then what do you want to eat? Stay in the hospital obediently. We'll take another X-ray tomorrow. When you're fully recovered, we'll go out and find a place to eat. Otherwise, if you eat fast food here every day, I won't go to Hai Yu Hui to buy takeout for you at night. Okay. I'll eat fast food. Yi Er saw that Jiang Zhao was so obedient. It was rare for her to see him like this. She quickly asked something she was very concerned about. Then do you still want to eat those chewy things of yours? I'm just joking. Honey, don't take it seriously. Jiang Zhao placed his chin on Yi Er's shoulder to please her. In the future, if you don't like to do something, I won't force you, okay? Next time, don't say that you don't want to live like this. Fortunately, Dad, Si Jia, heard it today. If others heard it, how shocked would they be? Really? Yi Er thought about it. Jiang Zhao's brain was not damaged. Really, it's definitely not cooked. At this moment, the two were indescribable. Yi was tired of being in Jiang Zhao's arms. Jiang Zhao hugged Yi was also unwilling to let go. And Yi Er glared at Jiang Zhao and said, No, we have to do the X-ray tomorrow and make sure there's no problem at all. The man pinched the woman's waistline and rubbed it up and down. Then you'll sleep with me tonight. Yi Er shook his head and looked at the man who looked like he was about to be set on fire. Jiang Zhao, do you think this is a 2-meter bed? Both of us have long arms and legs. It'll be too cramped if we sleep together. I'll sleep on the bed. Squeeze. Hey, isn't it too early to discuss tonight's matter? It's not early. It'll be dark in a few hours. Besides, it gets dark early these days. You know that. Can you think of something normal? I thought of the most normal thing based on this environment, Jiang Zhao said as he reached out and rubbed the woman's chest. Yi Er heard the sound of high heels clicking against the floor. He could imagine that the woman's head was slightly tilted up and her back was straight. She must have a good figure. The door opened and Qin Jin entered the room with an expensive handbag. Yi hurriedly jumped down from Jiang Zhao's body. Her face was completely red as she smiled. Mommy. Jiang Zhao sighed. This mother was too good at ruining things. How could she be so senseless? Qin Jin frowned and looked at the bruises at the corners of Jiang Zhao's mouth and cheekbones. She couldn't see how serious the injury was because of his clothes. She turned to look at Yi Er and her eyes darkened. She turned back and scolded Jiang Zhao. You're injured and you don't even need to rest. Don't you know that it takes 100 days to recover from a serious injury? Qin Jin's words were very unhappy, but Yi Er knew that although she was scolding Jiang Zhao, she was actually saying that she was insensible. Her husband was injured, and as a wife, she was still in her husband's arms, causing him to not be able to rest. Her mother-in-law's expression was clearly condemning her. She didn't dare to offend her. Mom, just now, Qin Jin didn't look at Yi Er. She looked at Jiang Zhao a little angrily and answered Yi Er, I know. I saw it when I came in. Jiang Zhao looked at Yi Er's timid expression and sighed. Mom, you're really too much. You have to knock before you come in. Look at me. I knock every time I go to your place. I'm afraid that I'll see something that I shouldn't see. Jiang Zhao, watch your words. Watch what? I'm just hugging my wife. What do I need to watch? You can hug your husband when you're in a relationship or remarried. I promise I won't see it. Qin Jin scolded Jiang Zhao. Hey, Mommy, Jiang Zhao replied with a smile and called out to Qin Jin softly. Yi Er looked at Jiang Zhao's obsequious look. It was really rare to see such a scene in 1,000 years. She couldn't help but laugh. Mommy? Wasn't that disgusting? That voice sounded a little coquettish and even had a slight inflection. Qin Jin coughed and said, Yi Er, I saw my in-laws in Sijie just now. Let's have dinner together tonight. Can you go and inform them? Yi Er said, okay. Then Mom, have a seat. I'll go and look for them first. Yi Er moved a stool over and placed it next to Qin Jin. She nodded politely before leaving. Yi Er knew that her mother-in-law was purposely sending her away. She felt inexplicably uneasy. When Jiang Zhao saw that Yi Er had suddenly become so obedient, he was a little unhappy. He felt that Yi Er who had claws was the real Yi Er. When Yi Er closed the door, Jiang Zhao put away the things on the table and placed them on the study table by the window. He also put away the small table and sat on the bed. He covered himself with the blanket and threw a pillow behind him. He leaned against the pillow with an I'm a patient attitude. After sitting properly, he picked up the newspaper and started flipping through it. I say, Sister Zhen, don't be like this the next time you see my wife. She's just a little girl. If she scares you to death, where are you going to find a wife like her to compensate me? Be kinder and more compassionate. You have to be a good mother-in-law. Humph, you've forgotten your mother when you have a wife. When he heard that Qin Jin was a little jealous, Jiang Zhao felt that this topic couldn't be too serious. The relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law wasn't something that could be mediated by ordinary people. In the past, he had heard that mother-in-law and daughter-in-law were difficult to get along with. Only now did he know that this was really the case. There wasn't even any conflict, but the mother-in-law already disliked her daughter-in-law. But this was her own mother, so she couldn't blame her, right? Jiang Zhao folded the pretentious newspaper neatly and placed it on the bedside table. He leaned forward and propped his head in front of Qin Jin. Who's my mother? Who's my mother? Why do I only see a beautiful big sister in my room? Jiang Zhao laughed loudly. Qin Jin poked Jiang Zhao's temple and couldn't help but laugh a little embarrassedly. You have a glib tongue. Jiang Zhao said, then Sister Zhen is really lucky. Outsiders don't know what I'm like, but you know that I have a glib tongue. Can you give me some benefits? What benefits do you want? Jiang Zhao leaned back in his seat and thought for a while. Then he said in a joking tone, our company has quite a lot of benefits, so you don't have to give them to me. Give my wife some benefits. For example, if she smiles more, she's such a cute daughter-in-law. When she looks at you, she calls you mommy, mommy so sweetly. Before she left, she even moved a stool for you and bowed to you. Look at how you looked just now, as if someone owed you tens of millions. You've made yourself look cheap, right? Qin Jin sat on the stool and tucked Jiang Zhao in. She still felt uncomfortable. This was her biological son. Look at his bruised face. It made her heart ache. If she was a little sensible, I wouldn't have looked at her like that. Can't she see that you're injured? She's 1.7 meters tall. Does she think she's 1.3 meters tall? Sister Zhen, I beg of you. My wife is 1.7 meters tall. 1.3 meters? Do you think you'll agree to your brother Zhao marrying a woman who's 1.3 meters tall? Don't be so unobjective just because you're happy. In any case, she saw that you were injured and still clung to you. That's not right. Jiang Zhao said weakly, it was obviously your brother Zhao who forced her to play with him. Fortunately, Yi Er's father didn't come in. Otherwise, he would have stared at me to death like you. You people only care about your own side. You don't even ask about the cause and process of the matter. He also had to complain about this matter. It was hard to please a mother-in-law, but it was also hard to please an old father-in-law. In short, they weren't biological children. This thing could only be a battle of wits and courage. There were no shortcuts. Yin Hongwei, if he dares to stare at you, I'll teach him a lesson. Qin Zhen was a gentle woman. When she said these words, it was as if her gentle character had spoken viciously. She seemed to be particularly disagreeable and a little naughty. Jiang Zhao always felt that his mother was like this. If she sat or stood in a dignified manner and then spoke slowly, that kind of appearance was truly domineering. Sister Zhen, I'm begging you. Don't come looking for trouble with your brother Zhao all day long just because you have too much money. If you really think you have too much money, give some to your daughter-in-law to spend. I'll introduce you to a boyfriend. What do you want? I'll find you a handsome, tall, handsome, and young one. Young one? Aren't you afraid that you'll call him brother? Jiang Zhao said indifferently, it's okay. You're my sister Zhen. I don't mind if you find me a brother-in-law. Moreover, you look like a young lady in her early 20s. It's normal for you to find a young man to date. That's called a talented and beautiful woman, right? Look at your mouth. I'm always angered half to death by you. Before you die, you must find a boyfriend. Otherwise, it'll be too much of a loss, right? Jiang Zhao. Hey, Mommy. Jiang Zhao saw that Qin Jin had raised her voice and began to act cute again. Qin Jin looked at Jiang Zhao acting coquettishly in front of her and frowned. She reached out to touch her son's face and slowly said in a low voice, Zhao Zhao, regarding your daughter-in-law's matter, aren't you afraid that you won't be able to get back up if you act like this? Welfare, Hongcha 866. You're tuning into the Dreamy Love Stories YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.